like a lover's last fight. The air's electric in the neon light. A place where lies and truth collide. Order a double shot and swallow your pride. Smoke curls up like whispers from the grave. No redemption here, no soul to save. Each table tells a story etched in sand. The True Crime Cafe, where the end begins. True Cafe, the True Crime Cafe. Coffee black like the sins in my mind. Sitting here where the lost souls unwind. Blood stains on the counter never fade. This is where the guilty come to trade. True Crime Cafe, where the secrets spilled. Every cup's a confession, every shot could kill. Underneath the neon lies a dark valley. Dancing with our demons at True Crime Cafe. The barista's got tattoos of broken dreams. Eyes like a crime scene torn at the seams. The jukebox plays a dirge for the damned. In this twilight world where nothing is planned. True Crime Cafe, where the secrets spill. Every cup's a confession and every shot could kill. Underneath the neon lies a dark valley. Dancing with our demons at True Crime Cafe. The coffee's bitter like a lover's last fight. The air's electric in the neon light. A place where lies and truth collide. Order a double shot and swallow your pride. Smoke curls up like whispers from the grave. No redemption here, no soul to save. Each table tells a story etched in sand. The True Crime Cafe, where the end begins. True Cafe, the True Crime Cafe.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Great to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us for Dago After Dark, guys. We're doing a late show tonight. It's been bugging me all day long. This case has been bugging me since the beginning when it first came out, but we watched some stuff in the morning show this morning on it, and it's just been bugging me, and I just watched some more stuff on it. I just can't get out of my head. I want to talk about Jack and Lilly Sullivan. I want to break it down. Talk about the timeline. Talk about the. I need to talk about it. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Please make sure to hit that like button, share this out, let everybody know we're doing in here, and let's get this thing moving, folks. Here we go. Here we go. All right, welcome back. Here we are again. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Hope I didn't take you away from anything of any importance, guys, but I need to talk about this case. It's bugging the hell out of me. And you guys that know me when something gets stuck in my brain. Here we are. So, yeah. Come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable if you will. Grab something to drink, grab a snack, whatever. Let's break this down. Let's chat and talk about what we know, what we've heard, what we've seen, what we think, what we feel. Let's do it. Hell, I may even open the panel up to this one, and I haven't turned the phone lines on in a long time. Maybe I'll do that too. Jesus, it's been a long time since I've done that. I wonder. Let's see here. Long time. Anybody wants to call in? Who knows? I doubt it because most people don't. But even when I was using them, that's why I stopped using it so much because nobody really called in. So be it. So be it. It's okay. Show. Let's see what we have here. Show. Good Lord, I gotta remember my damn phone number, guys. I haven't even used my phone number in here for so long. 234-703-4047. Does that sound right? I think that is right. I'll be damned. I think it is, but I think I have the right number. It's been so long, guys. Not lying. I haven't touched this number. I haven't used the phone lines in forever. There it is. Yep, 234-703-4047. Yep, it works too. We'll see what happens tonight, guys. Who knows? Thank you, SR. BBBBB. Who do we got in here with us so far? Thus far tonight, it looks like SRBBBBB. Yes, thank you, dear. Brady B, the OG. Moonlit Baby, welcome back to you. Miss Trish Crow, hello and welcome back. That might be it. Not a whole lot of peeps in here. That's okay. Well, we'll see if anybody else joins us. 13 peeps in the house. Guys, please make sure to hit that like button. Let's talk about this tonight. SRBBBB. Like I said, it just bugs me. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, your feelings, what you think. We're going on I think it's 6.5 weeks now that these two kids have been missing out of Nova Scotia. You guys know how we are in this channel, in this community with missing children. Sarge went live. Are you kidding me? Well, that's probably why then. I had no idea. Damn it, Sarge. Should have said something to me. Although he may have, and I just didn't see it. Welcome back, Michelle Weddle. Good to see you. Might feel bad now, but I'm already going, so. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that, guys. We'll turn that on here in a little bit. I'll even open the panel up. We will discuss it. Like I said, there's something off, definitely. We've heard some things. There's rumors everywhere with these cases. You know how it goes. The RCMP has been involved from day one. For those of you that are here or listening that don't know about this one, 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan are missing out of Nova Scotia, Canada. They've been missing for 6.5 weeks, roughly, since May 2nd is when they were reported missing. There's a lot of weird things surrounding this case. The stepfather involved, Daniel Martel, himself today. Well, it wasn't today. Well, I'm going to review that interview with you guys, and we'll catch that too again. I know a lot of us have seen it already, but we're just going to break it all down piece by piece. And, excuse me. He said that there's more to this case than people know. Well, that was a hell of a thing to say, okay? In Stitches, welcome back to you. Great to see you. Thank you guys for joining me for this. We don't do this too often. This one's just bugging me, guys, and I got everything dealt with that I needed to tonight and said, what the hey? I'll go hang with the most awesome people on the internet and talk about it. Like I said, I'm even going to open the phone lines up tonight to get people's thoughts and feelings and theories on this one. And we'll open a panel and everything. It depends on how many people we get in here. It looks like we got 17 peeps so far in here. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Oop, hold on here. Let me move this over here. Put that back up there. We got 14 likes, guys. Please hit that like button as you come through that door. Share this out and let everybody know what we're doing tonight, please. And thank you. Alicia J. Hey. Good to see you, dear. Thank you to the Blue Crew for joining me tonight. And thank you for those of you that dropped purple hearts in the chat in memory of Wisdom Speaks. She's always here with us. Always forever in our hearts, guys. We miss and love her very much. Come on in, everybody. Grab a seat. Get comfortable. I'll wait just a few minutes to see who all shows up tonight. May not be a lot. Who knows? That's okay. We'll still be able to share our thoughts, feelings, and express what we think on this. And it just bugs me. I think this one's bugged me, like I said, just like Sebastian's case did and does. I think it's bugged some of the people in my crew too. I know SRB, Alicia have had issues with this one. You know, thoughts and feelings on it. I think a lot of people do. So let's talk it out. All right, we're taking a shower with Alicia tonight instead of SRB. Thank you, Michelle. Come on in, everybody. Go grab a seat. Dang it, I wish I would have realized that Sarge was going live. Well, he's usually only alive for an hour. Usually. All right, come on in, everybody. Get comfortable. Thank you for joining us tonight. And like I said, I've got mixed theories and mixed feelings on this too, mixed thoughts. We all know that those of us that are familiar with the case, Daniel Martel is the stepfather. Malia Brooks Murray is the mother of Daniel and Lilly. You know, from what we've seen so far, Daniel has presented himself in a what seems to be a genuine stance on this. Okay, he's offered himself for polygraph. He's handed over his phone. He's come forth and sounded genuine, but we don't know. I'm not taking either parent off the table as far as considerable involvement until we're told by RCMP that they're not. Okay, that's just the best way to do it. Oh, crazy Moonlit. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry to it's split, but thank you for being here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. But he's shown what seems to be what I would say genuine feelings about this, and I've gone with that. I trust that, and of course Malaya, who was very shady from the beginning, um, bolted. Nowhere to be seen, and there's we're going to talk a little bit about that too. The rumor or hearsay is now that she's on the run with the baby, but we're hearing now that the baby's not in her custody, or the baby is. This is the problem with this one. We don't have like stamped in iron facts on this wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? So, and I like the fact that we have split feelings on this one in this community in some senses. We have, even in my crew, some of us have feelings about Daniel, very strong feelings, and some of us have very strong feelings in the opposite direction of that. So, that's what's good is we can discuss that and show each other the points that why we think the way we do. I go both ways with it, and maybe help each other understand why we feel like we do. That's what my thing is. You know what I mean? And that's why this community is so great, because we have the ability to do that. Come on in and grab a seat, guys, please, and thank you. Hope you're all having an amazing night tonight. And I appreciate you guys joining me to be able to, so I can get this out of my mind, and discuss it with some awesome people. Let's see here. I think sharing all, yes, and talking about everything we know, whether it's ridiculous or it's real. It helps you to kind of shave off the ridiculous stuff if you bring it up and you show the facts and things like that. So, just saying. Let's see here. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let's see here. Mm, some people still don't get notifications, so There's Miss Cassie. Good evening, Miss Cassie. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. 21 peeps in the house. Guys, please make sure to hit that like button. Like I said, we're going to break down the Jack and Lilly Sullivan, the two missing children out of Nova Scotia situation. I'll open the panel possibly, get everybody's thoughts and theories, and even open up the phone lines. I haven't done that in probably almost a year. If anybody would be interested in calling in and discussing it, we shall see. Yes, exactly, SRB. That's the whole point. Raquel Wells in the house with us tonight. Welcome, Raquel. In Stitches. Come on in, everybody. Grab a seat. In some senses, I feel like that could be true, Stitches. That it could be. It seems like he truly loved her, and it feels like he needs to cover or protect her because of the possibility of the postpartum depression situation. And if that's the case, that's honorable, but at some point you got to step back and look at the situation, bud, and say, enough is enough, in my opinion, if that's the case. And again, guys, tonight, other than the factual information that we absolutely have, that we know is pure fact, okay, everything that we're going to talk about is absolutely going to be purely alleged and based on speculative theory tonight. So understand that. It has been a long time since SRB's been on the panel. She's always welcome to join me. She knows that. So are you, Miss Cassie. It's been a while since you've been up here, too. Tab. Hello and good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Get yourselves comfortable here. Stage bright with me. Come on. You know better. Everybody in here loves you. And you'd be up here next to me. So, if anything, it would make the show better. You... Excuses, Cassie. You just... Excuses. Let's see here. 23 peeps in the house. Come on in, guys, and get seated. Get a seat. Get comfortable. Dylan Mort, hello and welcome. Good to see you tonight. Tonight, guys, that we're sticking to this case, Jack and Lilly Sullivan, still missing after 6.5 weeks. I want to break this down from the beginning and see what we can come up with ourselves, see what we think, see what we feel on this one. You never know. I always love, we have amazing think tanks in here. I mean amazing. Mother and daughter spats are always so fun. Oh, God, those sound so good. Sound good. Come on in. And again, for those of you that aren't familiar, I think most everybody in here is. Tomboy's not feeling good, huh? Okay. But she's in here. Ugh. I'm sorry to hear that. Nobody wants to come up here with me, guys. See how they are with me? I must smell or something. Who knows? I don't see Miss Tandy. She must be sleepy too. Something. It's okay. It is a later show. It's okay. Understood. But thank you to the Blue Crew for joining me and everybody else, of course. Miss Noel, hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to get into all that stuff tonight, Noel. Always an honor to see you in here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, dear. We're going to review Daniel's newest complete and full interview. We can look at a little bit of Miss the biological grandmother's interview and talk about the things that they've said and put those things together. What's up? Be Real's in the house. Welcome back, brother. Good to see you tonight. Appreciate you all joining us tonight. Like I said, this one's been hanging up in my brain a little too long, and it's bugging me. I was talking to the crew a little bit, and I said, I want to do a show on this. I just want to talk about it and get everything out, break it down, and put all of your guys' thoughts and feelings out too. I followed Jules' coverage on it too. She's done it, as always, she does a great job with everything. This morning during the morning show, we listened to some audio that came from another channel that's done a lot with this since it started, a Criming Shame. And there was a gentleman that called in. I think his name is Durwood. It's not his true name, but that's the name he used. And he brought some details out that he claims, he's a family member, that he's a cousin to Malaya. And some of the things he said, they could be very plausible, okay? And the whole thing is why I'm doing this tonight. All of it in a whole, it's just driving me nuts. It's kicking and pulling in pieces of my brain. It's crazy. So, thank you guys for jumping in with me. Noelle said that mom had nothing negative to say at all. No, she didn't at all. She actually was saying very nice things, which is considering. And the other gentleman said, yeah, she talked highly of her. That's right, Noelle. Like I said, we're hearing all sorts of different things mashed all over the place, and I I want to talk about it. Like I said, I'm going to open the phone lines up tonight. I'll open up our panel if need be too, and we'll get into a conversation about. So I'm just going to wait just a couple more minutes to see what happens here, and that'll be that. I didn't catch whose channel, but Daniel must have joined the chat because he had a moderator. Oh, wow, okay. Interesting. Well, of course, my door's always open to anybody involved in the case if they want to jump in here and talk about it, whatever. Guys, we have an open platform here, as well as dial in if they want to. So be it. Didn't even think about that. That's a good idea. At least you remember what I was watching earlier. He was showing the comments. Didn't catch who's yeah. Hell, Alicia, you're welcome to jump up here as well. I know that'll never happen, but just saying. In what sense, Raquel? Oh, the stepfather, Daniel, I believe, if that's what you were talking about. 26 peeps in the house. Come on in, guys. Grab a seat. Make sure to hit the like button and please share this out. Again, Tomboy, thank you for joining us tonight, even though you're not feeling well. Randy Furr, my friend, good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. I don't know what you know about this one, Randy, but we'll catch you up on this one. Sad situation, but bugging the hell out of my brain. So thank you for being here, brother. Of course, Randy, the new addition to the crew. Randy's actually been here for probably 3 years plus. So he is now a part of the Blue Crew, and we appreciate you for that, sir, as well. It's always good to see you, Randy. Oh, no, Raquel. We're talking about Daniel Martell, the stepfather in the Jack and Lilly Sullivan situation. The two missing kids out of Nova Scotia. Sorry. I'm sorry, Tomboy. I hope you feel better, sis. I know that sucks. Unfortunately, you got to go through that all the time. 27 peeps in the house. Come on, guys. Grab a seat. Share it out if you would. I'm going to pull some stuff up and start getting this ready. We'll review a little bit of some things said, and then I'm going to go ahead and open up everything. One minute. Welcome, Miss Josie. Good to see you tonight. Let me see here. CZ's in the house. Welcome, CZ. Hey there, Taylor. Good to see you tonight. Miss Dakota, always happy to see you. It's been a while. Horse is in the house. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. 29, almost 30 peeps in the house. Come on in, guys. Like I said, I didn't realize, or I wouldn't have done it. Come on down. Come on down. I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back one more time. We're going to review the full interview with Daniel Martell through CBC News out of Nova Scotia and break that down because there's some nuggets in that I saw earlier today. And it's quite interesting. And Daniel, guys, for those of you that aren't super duper like familiar, Daniel is the only one that has spoke out. Malaya gave one interview in the very beginning, and then she disappeared. Daniel has given multiple. And I don't know, like little by little, he seems to open up just a little bit more with each interview. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna break this one down completely and talk about what he has to say. Because there's things in this that he said that really, when I was going through it earlier, we just did pieces and clips of it. And there's things in this that he said that were just like, whoa. There you go, Tomboy. Good idea. Ordering DoorDash. Good stuff. All right, let me pull this up here real fast. So we're going to go through this first, break this down little by little by little. If you guys need me to back things up or slow it down or whatever, let me know. We're going to talk about, because I think a lot of what has gone on in the case comes out here. Okay. And then, of course, the other stuff we know. Welcome, Good Trouble. He does, Dakota. I agree with that. And it's weird how genuine and confident he does seem. And see, that's what's so hard for me to not look at him funny. Don't get me wrong. I still have him and her both. I'm still questioning everything. So, Sephi. That's all you're gonna. I don't know what you even mean by Sephi. What does Sephi mean? Thank you again, guys, for joining us tonight for this. So let's get this a moving.
The truth. I didn't kill Lily and Jack.
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lily and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
It's been a long 6 weeks. I know that everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know like what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together. And I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course, the stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from the beginning,
Yeah,
but you don't feel that now.
no, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No,
Was there any kind of gathering that someone
No.
might have thought was a party?
no.
So, and we've heard that from another source that that's not true. And Alicia called that from the beginning, that there was no party. Somebody down the road and a relative to Malaya said the same type thing that Daniel said, that it's to kind of get people to not pay attention to him for whatever reason. So who knows? That's interesting though.
No people at the house?
No, not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered to take a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, it did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, yep, great, thank you, come in
Yeah.
for a polygraph test.
Yeah, it took a little while to set up, and
When did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would
Definitely.
be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand. And you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
Now, that's very strange to me. He said that earlier, and that caught me off guard. Because, from my understanding, with every other polygraph test that I've ever talked about, heard about, looked into, watched, they typically, when they do, and especially in a situation like this, they try to set a baseline for the person that they're going to ask the questions for. And by doing that, they ask other minuscule, no nonsense, or just nonsensical questions, right? They don't come out right and say, hey, did you kill the kids? That's weird to me, but he took the test. I got to take his word, but I've never heard that before. Exactly. That would definitely not be the first question, because they're not going to get a baseline on you by asking you that, because it's going to automatically make you nervous like that. And you're going to alert on a test. It's very strange. It's very strange. That's how they get the baseline. And then once they get the baseline and they get an even heart rate on you and that, okay, they get it even, then they start asking the questions and they watch where it goes up and down at. That's how that works, guys, truly. So that's very odd. That's very odd. I don't know if they were trying to catch him right away, if they were trying to throw the test. It's strange, and I'm very uncomfortable with that right there. First and foremost, I'll say that. I agree totally with Dakota. That's just not how that works. Now, I don't know if it's different over in Canada, but here we don't do that. He may have meant that was the first real question they asked him. Well, I mean, maybe, but he said the first question they asked, and that's why I took it as the first question. You know what I mean? But you could be right. Satirius in the house. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, exactly. They start with a baseline like name, age, birth date, hometown, parents' name. Yes. Bingo. Like, is your name Daniel Martell? Yes, it is. Do you live at 1717 Flow Rider Road? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, I do. Is your mother's name, Ann Terry? Yes, it is. Are you familiar with Malaya Brooks Murray? Yes, I am. Are you close with Jack and Lilly Sullivan? Yes, they're my stepchildren. And then boom, then they hit you with the big stuff. That's always how those have gone. But maybe he does. Maybe Alicia's right that's the first question they asked him about the case. I don't know, but if that's the case, I don't know. I think he would have phrased it differently, but who knows? You could be absolutely right. You absolutely could have that right. Welcome, Miss Tandy. Good to see you. So, thank you, SRB. Yeah, guys, give me 1 minute here. I forgot to set that. I'm going to set the phone lines up so that we can call in if anybody should choose to. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, I think we're good. I think it's up and running. I think we're good. So, yes, guys, if anybody wants to call in and share their thoughts tonight, the phone number here is 230-703-4047. Feel free to call in, share your thoughts, theories, opinions with us, and let us know how you feel about this. Thank you, SRB. So let me get that back up here for you guys. I'm sorry about that. Oh shoot, where'd it go? Well, dang. 1 second. That was smart, Dago. That was smart. Jeez. I don't know what I did. Bobby Old Dude's in the house tonight. Great to see you guys. All of you guys. Thank you for joining us. Satirius. Great to have you here tonight as well. All right, here we go. We only got in for a little bit there, so I'll go ahead and start it for those of you who just popped in from the beginning.
Lilly and Jack. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lilly and Jack.
It's been 6 weeks now since you've seen Lilly and Jack. I just want to ask, how are you holding up?
It's been a long 6 weeks. I
Welcome,
know that
Aurora.
everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanted to know like what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together. And I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question,
Good
6
point,
weeks has
Bobby.
gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course, the stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
You felt that from
Sorry
the
to hear
beginning,
that.
Yeah.
but you
Oh,
don't feel that
okay.
now.
No, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector exam, the polygraph exam. I gave them my phone. I told them do drug tests because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. I know the person that said those rumors, and it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No,
Was there any kind of gathering that someone
No.
might have thought was a party?
no,
There were no people at the house?
no, not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered to take a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, it did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, "Yep, great, thank you. Come in
Yeah.
for a polygraph test."
Yeah, it took a little while to set up, and
When did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand. And you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lilly and Jack?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
See, the one thing that my wife said, somebody said this in chat this morning too. I had her watch this with me. And I only do that with her sometimes because she's got 2 psychology degrees. And I'm like, well, I want your thoughts on this. That doesn't mean that you know everything, obviously, guys. I just wanted her input because of that. I don't have those. She does. And one of the main things she noticed was that his eye contact was direct. And she said his eye contact is direct and it doesn't change. He stays focused on the situation. He's very relaxed. He's very confident. And when he answers questions, he doesn't really get too nervous. My wife did notice, Michelle, after dark, we watched her this morning too. She noticed that he licked his lip at some point in time. That is a form of it can point out that there's anxiety, but he just mentioned a very like traumatic thing, and maybe he's remembering that how he felt at that point in time, or his lips were dry. It could be either one of them things, guys. Just saying. So there's that as well. Yes, they have like a sweat thing that they put on. It's a little band with a wire connected to it, and it detects if you start sweating abnormally, it'll show how much, and it tells them that happened when they asked that question. And again, lie detectors or polygraphs, folks, are it's a broken science, I guess you could call it. They're not, you can beat them. Okay. You absolutely can beat them. There's ways to beat them. They've been done before. That's why they're not admissible in court, but in some senses it can help to, it's a tool that's used to be able to show people things that make people nervous. Basically, it's nothing that you can rely on. So understand that too. Yeah. Good point, Bobby. Good point, Bobby.
went through your mind when someone's asking you that question so point blank like that?
Your mind has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. It's like your stress levels just astronomically through the roof, and your body doesn't know what to do because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lilly and Jack. Are you accessory to the murder of Lilly and Jack? They were all.
So
So, from what he just said, that every question they asked, I mean, they must have went hardcore with this right from the start. That's not how you do a lie detector, a true one. They weren't playing. That's wild to me. Absolutely wild to me. I for sure would have thought they'd have done the baseline questions too, but maybe not. That's crazy. Katie Bat's in the house. Welcome, Katie. Good to see you tonight, dear. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry, I just saw you.
all of the questions assumed that the children are no longer alive.
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could
No.
they be somewhere?
No.
The police have done a number of polygraph tests. They've done 53 formal interviews. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is a lot of interviews. A lot of them are my family, people that live in the area. And those interviews, typically, my interview was 4 hours. And a lot of the interviews from my family were 1-2 hours. So there's a lot of time taken up, and they ask detailed questions.
Do you know who else actually took a polygraph test?
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to say anything that's going to impede the investigation.
Okay. When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
And how did that feel?
And that is a good statement and a very true statement. That if they thought that he was guilty, he was there for 4 hours. They would have had him there 8, 12, 24 hours questioning him. So that's a very good point, Alicia. Good to have that brought up too.
Good.
And did you feel that there was any further suspicion on you after that point, or was that sort of conclusive?
No, that was really when I seen the turning point for it's starting to taper off with investigators.
Do you know if Malaya has taken one?
I don't know if I can say it, but I will anyway. Yes, she did take one.
Okay, she took.
So Malaya has taken one as well. He doesn't know the results to it, obviously, but that's good. I'm glad that she's taken one. She definitely needs to. So just saying.
When do you know the result?
No, RCMP wouldn't let tell me I asked.
You said you feel like everyone in the world wants to know what happened to Lilly and Jack.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is getting so much attention?
Well, just the mysterious and nature of everything and how strange everything is. The RCMP,
Welcome, Scott.
you know, I
Good to
mean,
see
they
you tonight,
have to keep a tight lip on everything, but there's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
Now that right there, when he said that, that's one of my big notes. There's a lot more than meets the eye to the case. That could mean a whole bunch of different things, okay? And sorry guys, I got the hiccups. I'm curious as to what he means. And putting this together with some other things that I've heard and what we've heard, it's interesting because you got to wonder at this point. I personally think that Daniel knows something's not right, and I think it's on the other side with Malaya, and I think he knows. Maybe he didn't want to believe it because he did stand up and say, back off of her. She didn't do anything. These kinds of things. So, I think he, at this point, is starting to realize, or maybe saw it and was in denial, and now it's starting to open his mind up, going, okay. You know what I mean? I think he knows that there's something going on.
Is there something that you think the public doesn't know that you can share that you want the public to know?
That's a hard one because I don't want to impede the investigation in any way. It is still a missing persons investigation. It hasn't pivoted to any type of criminal investigation. But
I think it has. I just think that they haven't told him that. I think it definitely has pivoted to a criminal investigation at this point. That's just my opinion.
the kids were seen the day before. I know a lot of people didn't know that. I still see a lot of stuff online that the kids could have been missing for days. They were out of school for days, and they were seen in the Glasgow area.
Welcome, Thomas Osaka. Good to see you tonight, my friend. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate that very much. So very much appreciated for the support, sir. Thank you. And again, guys, as you're coming through the door, please make sure to hit that like button and share this out, please, and thank you.
On camera the day before this appearance in the afternoon.
Where was that?
I don't know if I can say that, but it was near the Highland Square Mall.
Was it with you?
It was with me, Malaya, and Meadow, and Lily and Jack were there too.
And are the police aware of that?
The police were aware of that since.
Do they have that video?
Yes, they do. I also talked to my coworker in the parking lot as well, and he verified that with investigators as well.
So his coworker saw them Thursday afternoon. And what I believe it was that they went to pick up his paycheck. He gets paid once a month. It was the end of the month or the beginning of the month, whatever you want to call it. And he was probably picking up his paycheck, and that's why they were all together. And being that if his coworker saw them, then yeah. Oh yeah, he definitely has a job. He works for a is it a lumber company or something? Where yeah, they cut trees. Lumber yard, I think it is. So
for all the speculation, they were gone days ahead of time, or they were seen the afternoon on camera before the disappearance.
Why do you think the police are asking for video dating back, days before that?
thank you so much for that super sticker, Thomas. God bless, brother. Never ever expected, but I definitely appreciate it. Thank you. That helps so much, brother. I appreciate you. that has been told from another source that it's not completely true, Dakota. And I'll lead into that here in a little bit.
Well, the reason for that is they want to see the traffic of the vehicles on the roads in the area, right? Maybe vehicles that were traveling that area a lot over the last few days prior to hand, or vehicles that weren't seen in the area, or vehicles that were seen in the area, like local people that are, what I mean, making frequent trips past the house, or which it's all considered evidence. I mean, the more pictures and videos is the better.
They say they have hundreds of hours of video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if they found anything on those videos?
I think it was.
And yeah, like Alicia's kind of explaining in the chat, what goes on is he actually worked 5 days a week. Okay. But there's certain times a year because they get frost. And what they do is they shut the mill down during those times a year, and they'll keep him on for like 1 day a week or something like that for payroll reasons and stuff like that. And so that would be why. But he was, before that, was working a full-time 5 day plus a week with overtime from what we were understanding. So he wasn't not working.
Was up to 2 weeks ago, they had.
Dago, you and your folks are there. Thank you so very much, Thomas. God bless, brother. I appreciate that more than you know. It means a lot. It really does. I think I would have a hard time working if my kids were missing ever again until they were found. Good point, Katie. Good point.
Footage that they examined for evidence that was 8 kilometers diameter out from the house. So that was after a month. That's how long it took to get footage and review it 8 kilometers out. So
but what's on the video?
I don't know. I'm only limited by what they tell me.
How often are they in touch with you?
Investigators now, I'd say maybe once every 5 days. And usually I'm the one who calls or messages them.
And how's that changed over the course of the 6 weeks?
Well, from the beginning, it was almost daily. tapering off to where it's only like once every 5 days now.
And how do you feel about that?
It's good. It's good and bad. I mean, I like to talk to them in person about any little small details I come up with or anything I can try to bring to their attention, which may help the investigation. So I don't get to see them often, so it's always over phone or messaging, and it's hard to really convey what you want to say when you're not in person. But then I also know the eye's not on me. The investigators don't
Agreed.
see me as part of the disappearance.
How do you know that?
Well, when you're going from daily to tapering off every 5 days, I mean, I already gave them everything on my phone. I'm the one who originally said, here, take my phone. We'll go through all my banking information. We'll go through all my stuff on my GPS from Google.
And you were offering all that up right from
Yeah,
the
I
beginning.
offered everything
And why were you doing that?
to show them that I want to get the investigation moving. I know I have nothing to do with any of it. A lot of speculation is you killed the kids. Was come out and say it straight as it is.
What do you think when you read that?
It's a lot of nonsense, obviously. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lily and Jack. And I just think a lot of people online they're seeking drama. That's the main thing. Everybody's allowed their own opinion, like I said before, but it's hard on the people that were actually there and missing the children. Still haven't got to see any of my kids, including Lily and Jack. And that's been really tough, going from a family of 7, including my other 2 kids that live in Halifax now. Going from a family of 7 in the blink of an eye, your family's ripped apart and you're left alone.
Sorry, guys. All right, let me get some other things moving here for you. Excuse me. Okay. It's a good question, Katie. Good question. Hold on here. All right, guys, I'm just trying to get something else pulled up for you real quick here. Give me one. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. See here. Now, as of yesterday, what we have here, this is CBC. They're talking about the Polygraph blanket boot print, new details of investigation into the Nova Scotia children. Hang on here, guys. Sorry. It says that there's nearly 12 RCM units that are still trying to piece together what happened. Daniel, again, stating that was the first question they asked him, which we did watch that just now. They did put up a reward. Nova Scotia offered $150,000 for the information about the disappearance of Jack and Lilly Sullivan. As far as updates goes, now this is the interview with Belinda Gray. This is Cody Sullivan, the biological father, This is his mother. Hang on here. They did a full interview with her. Now there's Belinda said that I'll just read it to you, that her son was in a relationship with Malaya for about 3 years. She said that she thought they were the picture perfect family. Malaya started to tell her that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. Malaya decided to end the relationship and Sullivan chose to walk away from the children, said Gray. Their mother petitioned the court for sole custody, she said. When she did that, he said that he was done. He just didn't want no part of it, said Gray of her 29-year-old son, who is currently living with her after losing his construction job, apartment, and vehicle 9 months ago. He hasn't seen the kids for 3 years. Despite the fallout, Gray wanted to maintain her own relationship with the children, and Brooks Murray had no objections. Anytime we wanted to see the kids, she'd come by for a visit. She'd bring them by all the time. But contact between Gray and her grandchildren eventually dwindled and stopped completely after Brooks Murray moved in with her new boyfriend, Daniel Martell, in Lansdowne Station. The last time that Gray saw Lily and Jack was nearly 2 years ago. Let's see if this plays.
My heart tells me these babies are gone. My heart tells me that. I am the grandmother of Lily and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side.
Not rooted, O. Thomas. I absolutely understand. I appreciate you stopping by, my friend. And again, thank you so much for the super sticker. God bless. And I hope to see you soon, my friend. Thank you very much.
My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lily and Jack were missing?
The mom of my grandson called me. We were in town.
Agreed.
She asked if I heard the news. She sent me the article that was on Facebook showing the kids missing. I couldn't call Malaya yet, so I waited till we got home. And I called, well, I didn't call her, I texted her. And she told me that, yes, that the kids were missing, that they've been missing since this morning. I was in a state of panic, shock. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, they'll find them. I mean, I'm assuming that they'd find them. So I told her, well, we'll head out first thing in the morning and help with the search. It was around between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. A couple of cop cars pull into the driveway. The lights wake me up that I'm a fairly light sleeper, so I see the cars pull in, so I knew what it was. So they come inside. They only stood in the kitchen. They wanted me to wake Cody up, and they wanted to know when was the last time he had seen the kids, and that they were just making sure that the kids weren't here. And then they left. So we showed up Saturday morning, me and my sister, and we met up with my daughter, and we started, well, I asked Malaya, I said, Malaya, I said, you know your kids. Nobody knows their kids like their mom. Where do your kids normally go to play out in the yard? What direction do they usually like to explore? And she said, well, they always play up in the little woods right on the side. I said, well, okay. I said, we'll start from that point and we'll work our way out. We had spoken to a search and rescue, and we weren't allowed on the other side because that's where they were searching at the time. So we just started combing through the woods up through there. We were gone for a couple of hours. I'm yelling for Lily and Jack. We always called Jack Jackie Boy. And yeah, that went on for a few hours, but those woods, I started to feel that I can't see them being in the woods. There's trees everywhere. You literally have to climb over trees, climb under bushes. It is really, really thick. We come back out and I went in to see Malaya again. I assumed she was in shock. She was very non-emotional, very just flat, monotone. But Malaya's very soft-spoken anyway. That she's not usually excitable. Um, I thought that's made her a really great mom. She was an excellent mom. She never raised her kid or voice at the kids. That it was always, now Lily, what did mommy say? And I used to think, now if anybody's meant to be a mom, it was her. A part of me still feels that.
Why only a part of you still feels that? What do you mean?
After seeing the place, seeing the condition of the home, it was like the total opposite of what I knew of Malaya. She was always clean, very clean about herself, about the kids, about her home. This home looked more like a camp. Now, I don't know if it's from all the people that were there because I didn't show up till the day after, but it was very unkempt. I was pretty surprised.
I love you.
Lily is,
She was my little dream girl, that the first granddaughter. And I loved that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess. Jack was such a sober, serious little baby that he didn't like to smile. You could tickle him, and he would look at you ever so serious, like he was really studying you.
And so, how long were your son and
see, this makes me wonder too, guys, if Daniel, and I'm not saying it's some people are just like this, they're not comfortable. If Daniel was uncomfortable with the kid's biological family being involved in their life, maybe, and maybe just to keep him happy, Malaya just stopped going there, possibly. I don't know. This is just a guess. But very interesting statements. Yes, I agree with that, Katie. It could be. It could be, and the fact that, the house was more unkempt than it normally was. I'm going to relate that, me personally, to possibly the postpartum depression there's quite a few people that have stated they believe she was going through that. I think, this is my opinion, that there is postpartum depression, possibly, that she was very unhappy, maybe possibly where she's living at, and maybe didn't know how to tell Daniel that, okay, because she didn't want to hurt him in that sense, because it's out literally in the middle of nowhere. There's no close cities or things to do. There's no friends of hers probably there. Her family wasn't close to her. And that made what led me to believe that, maybe she was detached in some way. I'm not saying he did this on purpose, but that's where they lived. So they moved there. And in turn, after a certain period of time, if she already had postpartum, add the fact that you don't have any closeness to anybody, right, bingo, Alicia's on the same page, the same book, the same chapter I am. You already feel like you're isolated after having a baby, and if you're out in the middle of nowhere, that's serious, guys. That's no joke. People need people. Remember what the pandemic did to us? Remember that, okay? It really tore people up. It really did. Because for us to be away from people, that's not our natural instinct. Our natural instinct is to be with people. There's specific people that don't like it, but most of society is used to being around others, and they enjoy that. She wasn't old, she's not 50 like me and things like that. She's still a young woman, still has her life out there, and probably wanted to enjoy some things and wasn't. She probably didn't have anything to do except kids all day long. If he was going to work, she's stuck there with 3 kids, okay? And one of them's a baby. That's going to get on your nerves after a while. That's going to tear you up after a while. You have no social interaction with friends, family, anybody, other than maybe on a phone. And yeah, that's going to do something to you. Just period. There's no two ways about it. It's another thing my wife agreed on. That's definitely going to hit you like a baseball bat. And it could have just been like there was a switch flipped. She said, that's it. I've had enough. I still think that there's a possibility that she had other family members in her ear after something we heard earlier today, and I'll get into that here shortly too. That's kind of my thoughts. Okay. I'm not saying that Daniel did anything to her. I'm not saying that he was abusive. I'm not saying any of that. He didn't have to be. But if she's miserable, okay, you can only take so much of that. Love only overcomes so much, folks. Just remember that. Okay. And like I said, postpartum's that's not a joke. You add that to that, add that on top as the icing. Think about that. So, and like I said, you get trouble. Some people, that's what they want, but a lot of society, they don't. You know, if that's not your type of thing, you're not that person, and you're used to seeing people, you're used to being around people, and then it's just all of a sudden gone. And like I said, your whole life consists of taking care of 3 little kids. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but we need more as parents, as people, as human beings. We need more interaction and more different things in our lives. That could very well make somebody just take a left turn at Albuquerque and snap. You know what I mean? Listen, guys, I'm on disability, or I'm not on disability. I'm disabled, awaiting disability, and I've been off work for a while, and I go out of my mind. If I didn't have this, I would be insane right now. That's a fact. So just know that it's not cool. So that's something else to think about with this, just so you guys know.
Malaya together?
3.5 years, I think it was, yeah. I thought they were the picture perfect family. Then Malaya started to tell me that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. She told me that she wasn't happy and she thinks she's going to leave. And I told her that we supported whatever she decides, that one good parent is way better than 2 broken ones.
And then how did that change your relationship with Lily and Jack?
I thought it was going to change, but it didn't. Yeah, it didn't change. Malaya, she was a sweetheart. Anytime we wanted to see the kids, she'd come by for a visit. She'd bring them by all the time. It was actually really, really good.
So when was the last time you saw the children?
A year and a half, almost, really. It's about a year and 9 months.
How did you deal with that?
Really, to be honest, maybe I didn't deal good enough with it. I looked at the fact that when her and my son separated, my son walked away. He chose to walk away, that she wanted sole custody of the kids. So she petitioned the courts for sole custody. And when she did that, he said he was done.
Were you ever formally questioned?
Yes.
So then it's about a month after Lily and Jack are last seen that they come and formally question you.
So it's about 3 weeks. They question Cody for an hour and a half in the vehicle, and then they question me for 2 hours in the vehicle.
How did that feel to you?
I didn't mind. I mean, to me, I expected, I'm the grandmother, so it wasn't a surprise to me. I'm assuming the sooner they do all that, I wish they would have done it sooner, that the sooner they can move on. So I didn't have a problem. My son was a little upset about it. He said they made him feel like he did something wrong, and he said he hadn't seen the kids in 3 years. So he was a little upset about it. That he said that they really come at him hard. They wanted to know what her favorite color was, and he said they were babies when I seen them last. He said she was just learning what she wanted to figure out to eat. I don't know what her color is. So yeah, he was pretty upset.
Have they ever talked to him again since then?
A couple of days ago, they had contact, and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
And have they ever given you any information?
No, it's always the same thing.
Which is what?
They've got everybody on it. They are looking at all avenues. They can't divulge any information that could compromise their investigation. It's the exact same words.
Why are you so sure they're not in the woods?
I have children. I have grandchildren. And I see what kids are like through the woods. There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not. I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them.
You don't sound very hopeful.
No. Our last day searching on Monday and seeing the woods and seeing the searchers and everybody everywhere.
There's no way those kids are in the woods. There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old. And they deserve so much better than what they got.
So there again, that's Belinda Gray's interview. I feel that she was being real. Okay, that was kind of heartfelt to me. That's just my opinion. Um, well, she thinks they're deceased. Now, in the beginning of this case, I did too. Okay, but then some other things started to come to the surface and change up a little. And at this point, I'm 50-50 now. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to talk about some other things that from the very beginning here. I'm going to get to. I'm going to show you guys here in a few minutes. That was one of the biggest parts to this whole thing to me. As soon as I find it here, I have to go all the way back to the beginning. Now, this is another thing here too that I wanted to hold on here. I thought this interview was very telling. They brought in a retired dog handler. Okay, and I think this is why I think this is important. I've been on many search and rescue teams, working in as a first responder, and granted, I'm in the United States. This is Canada. I'm sure things aren't much different. Standard operating procedure is standard operating procedure. Protocol is protocol. Most things are just worldly the same. Okay, so I feel like it's important to know certain things with this to understand things. So for one, we do know we've been told from the beginning that they brought in regular sniffer dogs. They have not used cadaver dogs yet, because I that tells me that, to me, if they really thought the kids were deceased, I think they would have done something about bringing them in. Now they did bring up the fact that Canada, the country, only has just a few. The whole country only has a few cadaver dogs, which that's one issue. But I think if they really thought that, and that those kids were possibly on the property deceased, they would have done something to bring them in. So that's one thing to me, truly. So, but this interview is very interesting for different reasons. Just pay attention to what he's saying, and you'll see what I mean.
And 8 full days of scouring Lansdowne Station, there's still no sign of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Glenn Brown is having a hard time wrapping his head around that. The retired RCMP dog handler of 26 years says it's baffling to him the children are still missing after such wide-scale searches that included upwards of 160 search and rescue personnel, dogs, helicopters, and drones.
I find it hard to believe that a 6 and 4-year-old would just disappear like that. I guarantee you, if I was still working today, that'd be the thing you'd be racing around your mind all the time. Like, where would they have gone? Like, we have done everything. I think the last thing I read, they searched a square kilometer area, 5 kilometers. That's a big area. And that's meticulously searched.
The children were reported missing from a home on Gairloch Road on May 2nd, sparking a 6-day search that was eventually scaled back. Then, over the weekend, 115 search and rescue crew members were called back. RCMP have not said what prompted them to return, but Brown says it's not unusual to restart a search. He says there are a number of reasons police may call crews back, including tips or new evidence. But if that was the case, that information likely was not known by the search crews or even police officers on the ground.
They may tell them, we got a tip, and we just want you to go in that area and search and see if you find anything. They're not going to tell you exactly what was in the tip. It's not going to do it. They don't even tell their own people that, unless you are in the know, right? Unless it's like you're in that investigative group.
RCMP's major crime unit has been involved since the
Absolutely
day
good trouble.
after the
Prayers and
children
thoughts all the way.
disappeared. They say every missing persons investigation is considered suspicious until they have reason to believe otherwise. An RCMP spokesperson would not answer specific questions about this latest search, but says officials will be reviewing the information collected and determining next steps. Ali Thompson, CBC News.
All right, guys. Let me move on to the next situation here. Give me 1 minute. Hold on. I'm going to pull up a timeline here, guys. As soon as I find the damn thing, where did it go? Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So as we know, 1 second. Let me see here. So they did go back and ask for everybody in the area to turn in dash cams, trail cams, any kind of camera footage they possibly had, going all the way back to like the 28th of April. Okay. And I think they were checking the area to see if they saw multiple like vehicles driving back and forth in multiple areas, to see if there was a case in the area possibly. Okay. The kids were seen, we know, the afternoon of May 1st with Daniel, Malaya, and the baby. In my opinion, picking up Daniel's paycheck. That was verified by Daniel's coworker. That's why I believe that. Now, we're also told that May 2nd, that she got up and called the kids off of school. Malaya did, anywhere between 6 and 6:30 a.m. They had been off school since Wednesday. Tuesday was the last time they went to school. Got off the bus Tuesday afternoon and never went back. They didn't have school the next day. It was closed. Thursday, they were called in sick because of a cough that Lily had. And then Friday, they were called in again. And then later that morning, 10 a.m. roughly, she calls RCMP and reports the kids missing. Daniel's story, the way he explains things is that he saw Lily pop into the room, the bedroom area, a couple different times. She had her backpack on. She had pink boots, and Jack had blue boots on. That's interesting. Yes, Katie, I was a firefighter and a first responder, both firefighter, EMS for years. So, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's very helpful with this because you do have certain knowledge and it helps in some ways. So, but thank you. I appreciate that. So 10 a.m. they were reported missing, as it states there. They was stated that they last saw or heard them between 8 and 8:30, something like that. And then, as you heard Daniel say, he says he didn't hear them. Okay. He states that she was sleeping next to him. Malaya was, but she was up before that at some point in time, 6 or 6:30 a.m. And I believe he was sleeping at that point. Okay. So we have two different timelines going with two different people per se for about being awake and asleep. Excuse me. Give me 1 second, folks. I need to take a quick break here. Bear with me. I will be right back.
In this twilight world where nothing is redemption here, no soul to save. Each table tells a story etched in sand. The True Crime Cafe, where the end begins.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. So what did I say here? 10 a.m. 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan, 4-year-old Jack are reported missing from their rural home in Garlock Road, Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, 30 kilometers from New Glasgow, Nova Scotia source. The children were last seen playing in the yard. The mom's statement was, they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. The next thing you know, it was quiet. And see, that's just crazy to me. That doesn't make sense, but okay. There's another interview. This is a former Halifax police investigator, and I kind of wanted to get his input, or let his input be heard if you haven't seen or heard this yet. Hey, Jody, good to see you. Sorry, guys, hold on.
Not a criminal investigation now, I'd be totally surprised.
It's been almost 6 weeks since Lilly and Jack Sullivan were first reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station. On Wednesday, the RCMP in Nova Scotia said many RCMP units, including major crime, are involved in the investigation, along with the National Center for Missing Persons. Police say they formally interviewed 54 people in their search, and this former Halifax regional police officer doesn't take that lightly.
They're out there, and the only way they're going to see or get results in this is to be out there talking to people, looking at videos, looking at topography and what have you, and so on. They're not in offices doing this by a laptop. Let's put it that way.
In an update this week, the RCMP say they've collected hundreds of hours of video from areas surrounding Lansdowne Station between April 28th and May 2nd, when the kids went missing, and have received nearly 500 tips from the public. Police say they've searched every aspect of the family's home and received authorization to seize and examine devices.
They'll go on the balance of probabilities based on the area that we fully searched with a lot of people. We can't find any evidence, be it a backpack, a shoe, or whatever. We can't find the kids. If you can't find them, that somebody has to say enough is enough right now for searching those areas. So now we move to where? There's only one other option. A nefarious take to this. In other words, a criminal type thing. That's only my personal opinion.
Police say they've used polygraph tests in some interviews. This former polygraph examiner south of the border says the test is used to monitor how a person's nervous system responds to certain questions.
If somebody is successful in the test, then not that they're being eliminated, but they'll spend more time on people that are not successful. Not passing the test doesn't mean you're guilty or you're involved. It simply means that there's some issue there, maybe some knowledge, guilty knowledge.
Moriello says he's seen people pass tests who were later proven guilty. More than 160 search and rescue volunteers have scoured through the densely wooded area surrounding the children's home, but only a small boot print was found. Police continue to refer to the case as a missing persons investigation.
They're covering it all, everything they can. And you only do that in depth when there's a criminal investigation with major crime on scene. They're not there just because they're major crime. They're there to do their major crime work.
Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Halifax.
All right, so there's another interview. I'm just trying to put together all of this stuff, guys, for you guys. To put it all, hang on. Put all of it together and see what it says. It, you know, well, we come up. Hold on a minute. All right, I had to get back out of that area there. 1 minute. As soon as I find the right part here. Give me 1 minute. Excuse me. Let me move this here. Okay, that was the initial news release. 1 minute. All right, I'm going to give you guys some of the dispatch audio as well. Just a minute here. Hopefully it works. The day of them going missing.
Of the property when you're looking at it. I'm not sure the actual direction. Members are just clearing it now. Door was open, closed, but unlocked. Just clearing it. Copy.
There's definitely ways to do it, Katie. You can. I've heard that people can take a Xanax and it completely relaxes you no matter what, and it doesn't allow for your blood pressure to go up. If that's true, I don't know, but I've heard that.
And then looking for 30 Bravo 5, Staff Sergeant McKinnon. Go ahead. 10-4, just checking if you're on this channel and you're 17 area, or are you 23 there now?
Yeah, 17.
Thank you.
There's not much in the first audio.
Specifically,
Let's see if the second one.
No, just for deconfliction, I'll just stay on the east side of the road if you're going to stay on the west side of the road and work the backyards and over top of the residents. If you're not going to cross the road, we'll just drop down. There's a gully on the east side. We want to just kind of cruise the forest there.
And this was the first day when they went out
we can do that.
looking for the kids.
Okay, we'll stay on the east side for now, and we'll keep you advised when we switch back over. Copy that.
And they were all over that property. And they were there quick. That's the thing. Remember this.
Or do you want me to check the other issue on mutual aid 6?
Their RCMP response to this was very fast.
Yeah, you confirm, I believe, Sergeant Young is, I see that, Young or the risk manager will confirm whether they want him deployed to Lansdowne or here.
So,
yeah, I spoke with the risk manager. He
from the moment she called, and this is an important detail based on something we heard earlier today, but from the moment she got on the phone with them, their response to that house looking for those kids was immediate, like within
60515, go ahead.
minutes, folks. It was very quick, very
Just
fast.
looking to have whatever fire department is local called out.
Yes.
Alma Fire. Specifically for traffic. And it's been noted they may have a drone as well. If they don't mind attending. Jacqueline, give them a call. Thank you.
Alma Fire is Fleur, I think.
Yeah, whatever they got, that'd be helpful. If they don't mind attending here, that'd be great.
Okay, so this is Lansdowne Station. This is Garlock Road. This is roughly the vicinity right here to where they were missing from right here. Okay. Hang on. I'm about to do some shrinking here and moving. Just a second.
check with you two, so I'll check with Sergeant Young, and that'll be the priority then. Well,
Okay. So they were all over this area. It's all
Sergeant Vickers, is Cessna 83.
very rural, very hard to get to. They both, they all had very
Sergeant Young from Staff Sergeant Rose
had a lot of trouble with their radio service, phone service. She had trouble sending pictures of the kids to them.
TAC 6, Auxiliary 6 are both back, all back in service.
Stetson 83 from Portable. Staff, this is again, Mutual Aid 5.
The drone that we just had freed up here in Colchester. Would you like him to come your way?
Vickers here, go ahead.
Back in the car there. No service.
Yeah, Cessna 83, we're going to be there within 15 minutes there. We'll, unless you have any other directions, we'll start searching the south portion of the way.
Up here in Colchester. We can send
Nope,
it to
that'd be great. Dive team is
yeah, that'd be great.
just arrived, and
On the area,
we'll advise
cover.
there's a drone in the area.
It'd be great if you can tell the line there. Shortly we'll be in, and if you need to get a hold of us, just call us up on this frequency at 783.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so this area here, they looked here as well. It's in like an abandoned campground. It is very beautiful, just so you guys know, very much. Obviously, this is God's country. You can't go wrong here, in my opinion. I'm trying to get to a point here to show you guys something. As soon as I do, I think I dropped in too far up the road. My apologies. Where the hell is it? It's right up here somewhere.
Copy that. All members asked to report to the station. You'll get more details upon arrival.
Now this is one of the dirt roads that was close to the home. I think I might have passed it. Sorry, guys. That Daniel was talking about running down through and looking. Did I go past? Yeah, I'm not doing good with this. I'm sorry, guys, because I forget the actual home address. Give me a minute here. Okay, that's the other road, the crossroad there. Where the hell is this, you guys? Shit. You guys remember the actual home address? Anybody? Tomboy or one of the mods? Not just anybody, but it's very thick woods. Very thick woods. There's nothing. Is that it right there?
The risk manager is still monitoring there?
Nope. Oh, shoot.
Nope.
Bear with me, guys.
Yeah, there's a dirt road just past the address, the last point known. We can put vehicles on this dirt road. There's lots of big driveways and stuff. They're fine. If there's any other calls for you for updates, that'll be our staging area, whatever road this is.
Maybe that was it then. I'm sorry.
Okay, 10-4. Looks like the Matheson West Road. I'm guessing that's the one you're referring to.
Yeah, 10-4, I'm on it now. So, yeah, this is perfect.
It's Matheson. I remember the map initially. Was it West Road? Nope. Hold on. I'm doing this because I'm trying to show you guys something real quick with the property. So bear with me. My apologies. I dropped in way too far away from it. See, I thought that was West Road. Or no, that's got a mailbox. So that's not the road. That's somebody's address. Sorry. I may have went down too far. See, I thought it was 18 something. That might be it right there. No. Nope. That might be the New Lark Pioneer Cemetery. I guess not. Guys, this is so rural. It's crazy.
Yeah, 300.
355, I'm going to request field communications unit to be sent out here to the 4 comms if this gets extended for a long period of time.
Yeah, I was going the wrong way, folks. I do believe. My apologies for taking you guys on a wild goose chase. I don't know why I get this turned around. I did this last time too. Come on. Get back up over here. All right. This is... Yep. Okay, here we go. I knew I was doing something wrong. 1 minute. Is that it? Nope.
Members here on Gerlach Road, we just had a 911 call. Can I go ahead with the details?
Here we go. This happened too during this.
Yeah, go ahead. So you're going to call via 911 from a Karen Ponacao. time delay about 5 minutes. She was reporting just driving past a black Honda CRV, Nova Scotia marker Golf Mike Fox 320, that left the outdoor recreational park close to the residence. It is permanently closed. Complaint is unsure if related, but it felt a bit strange to her. Driver was a white male around 50 years old, bald with a mustache. And it left from 1480 Garlock Road. I can send that down to your MWS if it's easier.
Got a copy of Bravo 3, deactivate and reactivate me to this one.
10-4, just came as an update there. Do you want me to send it to your MWS?
10-4, I think you probably send it to all of us there.
Sure. What was that address? Looks like the address is 1480 Garlock Road.
Yeah, Dan, I'm not sure. You know, there's certainly a possibility this one will roll into tomorrow. And I think Josh Weiss is, you know, on call. So, you know, I wouldn't necessarily cancel any big plans that you have.
That's the campground, folks. So we already
optimistic. Maybe both the files that we have right now will get wrapped up.
I had it written down. It's
Copy that. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if I should cancel my plans or not. But yeah, just keep me posted and keep it in mind.
Yeah, we'll do.
Negative at the moment here. We're just overhead the park and just still on the search pattern here. But we were just curious to know if you wanted us to kind of get eyes on that that vehicle right away.
I'll quickly there just give her a call, see if I can get a direction of travel from her, and that way, if we do need to, we'll know which way they went.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Looks like it's gated. From our vantage point, standby one.
355, is that the old KOA campground? I'll check there. Bye-bye.
Do you want to send that name and number from that for that vehicle down to Corporal Warren Short? We'll look after that here.
Definitely, thank you. You.
Remember the Kilo 6, come up the road with me. I'm way up past and head up this way with me.
I do not have the address. See if that was right. I know it's very close to this. Maybe. Is this it? Bingo, bango, bongo. Here we are. Okay, so this looks a little different now than it did then. Thank you, Tomboy. This is why I thought there could have been a landline, because there's a phone box right there.
So short, I emailed that there to you.
There's a
And
camp
53 Alpha 3, 355.
back here.
Yeah, turn around, come the other way. I'm up here up this road. Right here.
See, that's the sign up there, and that's where they're talking about right now. How did I pass this? Jeez. Anyway.
Thank you up there. So should we have contacted the PSFB truck is requested for comms issues will be sent to the staging area.
Anyway, the backyard we've seen already. This is the road, the area of the dogs. Tracked them to this area here, so on and so forth. The RV sits back here that Daniel's mother and brother live in, and that whole back area.
Delta 3, did you copy that? No, go ahead.
And as you guys can
10 more. We talked to Shuby there. The PSFB truck is going to be sent to the staging area for the comms issue.
How rural this is, okay? That's all I really wanted to show for anybody that didn't know. Sorry for all that mess. Anyway, on we go. On we go. So that is the area. Now, if I go to, how do you do this again? I forget this. 1 minute. I gotta get back out of this. Sorry, you guys. I'm gonna change the view. No. Anyway, we don't need to stay in there. All right, so that was some of the audio from it. 1 minute here. I'm trying to give you. Now, this morning, we listened to a conversation this morning. It was very interesting. This is the stuff I wanted to talk about. Again, the phone lines are open, 234-703-4047 if you want to call in and express your feelings. Please feel free. If not, no worries. All right. Where are we at now? Okay. Now, another channel that we've been following with this came out with another video yesterday on this. 1 minute. Just to give some insight, if I can find it. But maybe not. Hold on. Maybe not. I'm trying to make sure it's not something that's been overdone. You guys have heard 1,001 times. Mm, 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Just having a problem loading something. One minute. Hey, Paula. Good to see you. No worries, dear. No worries. Hang on one moment here. I got to get to the right video. Sorry, things are loading slow, folks. Just give me a minute. This might be it here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I want you guys to listen to this again, what we listened to this morning. Now, I don't know. This person claims that he is a second cousin to Malaya. He's been bouncing around a little bit, okay? Different places, and he's pretty serious about what he says, and he sounds serious. And again, this was on A Crime and Shame, and it was very interesting hearing what he had to say. He calls himself Durwood. We listened to this morning on the morning show for those of you that were with us. For those of you that weren't, that's why we're doing this now. There's pieces of this that really caught my attention that I couldn't not take seriously, I guess you could say. And that's all we're going to do is review that portion of that and then discuss that. If I can find it here again. I think this is it here. Yeah. Okay. Give me 1 minute here. That's pretty awesome. That's awesome, Paula. Very, very cool. All right. Here we go.
Okay. It just goes a little off to me. Wait a second. Hi, Charmaine. Hi. Okay, Charmaine. Sunny. Okay, I just want. Okay, so I have Durwood on the phone, and I'm just gonna. Durwood, can we just do a quick test? Can you just quickly say Durwood, Durwood, Durwood?
Durwood.
Can you hear that just fine?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so again, you guys, in chat, always be respectful. So Durwood is the person that has called into Dolly's show, and honestly,
So what Durwood has done is he called into Dolly's show the night before last, I believe. Then he called and he spoke to them here at Crime and Shame last night. I believe he called into another channel as well today. So he's obviously watching these channels out here, seeing what they're talking about, and he's, as you'll see, very angry. It seems to be. So forewarning, he says some words in here. They're not bad, really, but in some context, people take it that way. So just be prepared, guys. That's all I'm saying. You can perceive this however you want. I'm kind of 50-50 with this, what he says, okay? 50% of it I'm very comfortable with, and 50% of it I question it. I'll just say that for sure. So listen closely, because there's certain things that he points out that are kind of interesting, and there's other things that you're just kind of like, well, maybe, okay, we'll see. But it does give in my opinion, it does give this situation some kind of a stable possibility, if you want to call it that. Okay, we'll just say that.
Durwood, I'm just gonna let you say whatever you would like to say today, right now, and then maybe we can ask you a few questions throughout it, or you can ask us anything we're thinking as well. Or so I'll just let you take the wheel. Go ahead.
Well, all right. My mind is kind of rambling right now, but let's go to the first thing. I was called a liar because I said that Daniel and Malaya had lived together for 4.5 years. And that's true, because what a lot of people don't know is that Daniel lived with Malaya at my cousin's place, who is Patty, the great-grandmother, for about a year, up to a year and a half, before they moved to Lansdowne. And then they lived in Lansdowne for about 3 years.
Okay.
So that's a lot of people don't know. Well, nobody, I suppose, would know that they lived there for over a year before they moved to Lansdowne, before the lady gave them their trailer to live in. Now, the shit has hit the fan a little bit here today.
Because you're kicking up dirt, right?
I was visiting with the family, and I was asking some questions, and there was somebody there that I wanted to.
Once again, Durwood has explained himself to be a 65-year-old man. He is Malaya's second cousin, and he's talking right now about visiting that family.
I just sort of wanted to let them know that I knew something because I was pretty suspicious of them. And they were actually, I believe they were actually eavesdropping on me, which I counted on. So I let out a little information that should have shook things up. And then I believe the person that eavesdropped on me, I intentionally let them eavesdrop on me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe they directly called Malaya, and within a half an hour, Malaya had panicked and grabbed the baby, grabbed Meadow, and took off from Cindy's place, which is her mother's place in Wentworth.
Right.
And that's where she's been staying under 24-hour supervision by CPS. And
Now, here's the story that the other channel didn't get right. And I thought this was the case. Malaya has the baby with her, but she's to be staying with her mom. And CPS, I guess, is watching this situation. And according to him, like he just said, after he went and had this conversation at his family's house, somebody contacted Malaya because of something he stated, and she took the baby and took off. Okay.
But anyway, she fought with her mother. Her mother tried to keep her there physically and couldn't keep her there. And Malaya headed, what I was told by the other family members who called me back right away, and that she had grabbed the baby and ran and headed for the reserve in Shubenacadie. Why she would head for the reserve, I don't know. And I don't know for sure if that's where the chief of the Micmac Reserve, it's his brother that's her lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I know some of you guys have heard this. So she took off with her baby and went to the reservation. And her attorney is the related to the chief of the Micmac reservation that she went to. Allegedly, sorry. And like he said, he doesn't know why she would go there. I would imagine because of her attorney being there. That makes sense if that's all true.
And the only thing I can think of in that, and not so, what I don't know, I'll say I don't know. What I know, I know. Now, I don't know exactly why she ran for the reserve, but the only connection I can think of is that her lawyer's there. Maybe she thinks she can get some kind of, I don't know, legal protection or whatever, because I think she realizes that the jig is up. And I think she realized that I knew more than I made an educated guess, and I think I was right, and it made her panic.
Right.
So she did that, and then there's that's mainly what I want to say for now is that I think the jig is up, and things are going to break pretty quick. Now, as far as the kids, and I said this before, and I meant it. I don't care. Things have gone too far. I don't care which family, the Mackenzies, Daniel's family. Yeah. Daniel's last name is Martel, but his family are Mackenzie boys.
Yeah.
And they're a good bunch of people. They're hardworking people. Daniel's a hard worker, and he's not. Daniel, to me, has always been a very respectful guy. I can't say a bad thing about Daniel. And as far as his heavy drug use, Daniel did have a drug problem up until about two and a half years ago, and he's been clean for over 2 years. He attends Narcotics Anonymous on a regular basis, and he's been clean for over 2 years. So this bullshit about a big meth house, and I know who that came from. The guy down the road that started that horse shit is one of the worst people in this county. So let's just say if there was ever anybody you would not believe, that would be the guy.
Well, okay, because that one was basically the neighbor saying that they drove by the house. There was like a big party going on Wednesday or Thursday. They couldn't remember, and that's kind of what started like this whole, drug party thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, was that post? Yeah.
Exactly. That guy, and I won't say his name, of course.
That's fine. Yeah.
That guy and his brother got chased straight out of the towns here for doing a lot of really dirty stuff, for a lot of stealing, a lot of assaulting people together. And he was pretty well, that's why he's out in the country. He pretty well got chased out there. So, and he's a very,
yeah.
And by the way,
Yeah.
I'm supporting Daniel quite a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not ruling anything out with Daniel.
Absolutely. Right. I mean,
I'm not ruling anything out with any of them other than this. Cindy, the great grandmother, knows nothing and has no responsibility or connection to this at all. Or Patty, the great grandmother, has no responsibility or connection to this at all, other than being very concerned.
Right.
Now, this is what I had to investigate in my family hard, because I firmly believe that my first sort of dig into this found that the arrows were pointing hard at Malaya and Daniel.
Yeah.
And it came to be that there's a lot more pointing at Malaya with the actual problem with the kids disappearing than Daniel. Daniel is confused. He thinks he knows what happened,
right?
And he knows part of it, but believe it or not, he is very desperate. He's just sick about Meadow, but I'm not saying he's totally innocent in this. But
right.
Listen, there's been no big crimes. There's been no big murders. There's been no big huge abductions. There's been no children getting sold for drugs. It's all been overworked. It's all been overblown. And what's happening here right now, and this is
the reason why this is so interesting to me, you guys, is the guy seems to know quite a bit of detail, and he's like talking about, here's the thing. If you were to come forward and claim to be a family member, that can be proven. Okay? That can be proven. If people hear this, they're going to know this guy's voice. So I would imagine you wouldn't be dumb enough to come forth and make these statements and claim to be this person, knowing that it can be proven, unless you were. That's my thought process with this. Which is why I'm very prone to say, okay, I can listen to some of what he's saying. So that's my thought with this, guys.
This is 99%. I'm absolutely sure. What's happening here right now is there was a young couple together. They had kids. They were stuck out in the country. Well, Malaya wasn't very happy because it's pretty.
Exactly, Katie. That's why this is easier for me to believe than not. You know what I mean? That's why I'm kind of stuck on this. All day I've been thinking about this. And I can't let go of it. This is Good Trouble. His name's really not Durwood. That's the name he's using. He's a 65-year-old cousin to Malaya. Second cousin to Malaya. I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Tomboy. And has been having conversations, said that he had some issues with this whole situation from the beginning. As you'll notice, he starts to get a little upset. He really seems to care about the kids, blah, blah, blah. And says, that this needs to be done. And he's been looking into this more and more. So, just saying. That's what, like I said, that's why I'm kind of prone to believe this, because the details that he puts out and how adamant he is about certain things makes me feel, and again, like I said, it's very easy to prove that this is bullshit if it is. And anybody would know that, being that you're related. That's the difference. So it made me think about that all day.
Pretty damn boring up there. And a couple other things. And they were having their differences. There was I won't say which one. There was one, and they're a good bunch of people. They're hardworking people. Daniel's a hard worker, and he's not. Daniel, to me, has always been a very respectful guy. I can't say a bad thing about Daniel. And as far as his heavy drug use, Daniel did have a drug problem up until about two and a half years ago, and he's been clean for over 2 years. He attends Narcotics Anonymous on a regular basis, and he's been clean for over 2 years.
Also, this man's son works with Daniel as well too.
So this bullshit about a big meth house, and I know who that came from. The guy down the road that started that horse shit is one of the worst people in this county.
So
let's just say if there was ever anybody you would not believe, that would be the guy.
well, okay, because that one was basically the neighbor saying that they drove by the house. There was like a big party going on Wednesday or Thursday. They couldn't remember, and that's kind of what started like this whole, drug party thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, was that post? Yeah,
exactly. That guy, and I won't say his name, of course.
That's fine. Yeah.
That guy and his brother got chased straight out of the towns here for doing a lot of really dirty stuff, for a lot of stealing, a lot of assaulting people together, and he was pretty well. That's why he's out in the country. He pretty well got chased out there. So and he's a very
yeah.
And by the way,
yeah,
I'm supporting Daniel quite a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not ruling anything out with Daniel.
Absolutely. Right. I mean,
I'm not ruling anything out with any of them other than this. Cindy, the great-grandmother, knows nothing and has no responsibility or connection to this at all. Or, Patty, the great-grandmother, has no responsibility or connection to this at all, other than being very concerned.
Right.
Now, this is what I had to investigate in my family hard, because I firmly believe that my first sort of dig into this found that the arrows were pointing hard at Malaya and Daniel.
Yeah.
And it came to be that there's a lot more pointing at Malaya with the actual problem with the kids disappearing than Daniel. Daniel is confused. He thinks he knows what happened,
right?
And he knows part of it, but believe it or not, he is very desperate. He's just sick about Meadow, but I'm not saying he's totally innocent in this. But
right.
Listen, there's been no big crimes. There's been no big murders. There's been no big huge abductions. There's been no children getting sold for drugs. It's all been overworked. It's all been overblown. And what's happening here right now? And this is 99%. I'm absolutely sure. What's happening here right now is there was a young couple together. They had kids. They were stuck out in the country. Well, Malaya wasn't very happy because it's pretty damn boring out there. And a couple other things. And they were having their differences. There was I won't say which one. There was one not disciplining the kids enough, and there was another disciplining the kids a little bit, like believed in. Not to the extent.
That's what I think, is that he does know a good piece of this, but not all of it. You know what I mean?
Of abuse, I don't believe that, but I believe, corporal punishment. Our people believe in a slap in the arse now and then.
Right.
Some people don't.
Old school ways.
That's right. So there was a difference of opinion in there, and then I believe Malaya did have some postpartum depression when Meadow came along.
Yes.
And that created some problems. And then financially, now Daniel worked that this 1 day a week thing is another bullshit. It's that mill, like I said, I got to know Daniel because my young fellow worked at the same mill with him for a couple of years up there, and that's how I got to know Daniel, because I moved since then, half a mile down the road from the mill. So when they'd come from work, they'd stop in at the house together. They got to be friends, and like I say, Daniel always acted respectfully and very decent around me and my people. There was never any problem. Now, I'm 65. Where was I going with this?
You know what, Derwin, I do the same thing all the time. Now, can I just ask you one thing? What date? Can we just ask what day did Daniel actually work on? This 1 day that he.
That's where we were. No, listen.
Oh,
see, it varies. He always
varies.
worked 5 days a week,
Right.
sometimes overtime. The reason the mill shuts down here is we have road closures for frost and that, the frost coming in and out. So there's a couple of times a year in the spring and the fall, we have road closures for a few weeks, so the mill closes down.
Yeah.
And then the odd time that mill runs out of product, so they close down once in a while. And what they do, they'll put you down to 1 day a week because they don't want you to quit on them.
Exactly.
When they get good employees, they'll pay them that 1 day a week because I don't know what it's like out there. But here, then, like, they work full time there. I would say anywhere from at least a bad year is half a year, like say 6 months, up to about 9 months a year.
Yeah.
And in that other time, they get paid the 1 day a week, and plus they get unemployment. So Daniel, they weren't just living on 1 day a goddamn week, which is what there's another bunch of crap
Right.
over and over again.
And
so
yeah. So but do you know by chance, just for the sake of people wanting to know, do you know what? I know that what you're saying exactly there, Derwit, about, obviously work gets slow. They don't want to lay you off. They keep you on, but mostly you're saying he works 3/4 of the year all around. But was there a particular day that he was set to work each week? Do you know?
Yeah. Usually it was the same day. Like usually.
Well, we're not going to go through too much more, guys. We won't be here much longer. I didn't want this to be a thing. There's just a little bit more that I think is important to hear, and then we'll go ahead and move on.
I think usually it would be a Monday.
Okay.
It was a regular 1 day a week. It wasn't just called in.
Sorry, Katie.
For a day.
Right. Yeah.
It was a regular schedule deal.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I haven't listened to today's Dolly with you, Derwood. I haven't had a time because I was working, and then I was like, I had to have groceries coming, etc., etc. Anyways, life got busy, and I didn't listen to today's. I listened to yesterday's, and I know that you feel, and tell me if I'm wrong here. I know that you were saying on Dolly Visions Live that you don't believe the children are in the woods, and you don't believe that
they were never in the woods.
Right. And so because Daniel spoke to, see, this is what I said, and you said the same thing, but so Daniel spoke to Charmaine, which is the co-host with me on It's a Crime and Shame, and Daniel said a lot of stuff about Malaya and some other things, and
they're 6 and 4, Paula.
He said that Charmaine could talk about certain things and to go through it. And just remember that, like the child meadow, obviously it goes to the internet. But my problem is that this is about Jack and Lily. It's not about Daniel's love for Malaya and his little bit. Yeah.
That's why I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's not important to me as far as the relationship between Daniel and Malaya, I really think it was a pretty good relationship. Matter of fact, I'm sure it was. But like anything, they had their differences and they had their arguments here and there. I was married for 30 years and I had lots of them. Now, what I think happened, what I'm pretty sure happened, is Malaya. They had a few arguments, they had a bad stretch for a while.
Right.
And Malaya was complaining and bitching to some members of the family. And she lost her temper or lost her control a little bit, and she was like seriously complaining, saying she wanted out of there and stuff like this, right? And then there was some stuff she said that really wasn't true, but I think she was exaggerating her position. Now, some members of the family took that seriously. And they decided on their own. To look into it, right?
Right.
And okay.
This is the part that I took as interesting, and what's coming up too, very interesting, and it does make sense. And then I'll explain to you why, and then I'll let you guys go, because then I'll have gotten it out of my head for tonight.
That's all I better say about that for now.
Yeah,
that's all I better say about that for now.
I get it.
All right, I'm going to tell you this. I'm really hopeful.
Yeah.
And I have some good reasons to really hope and believe that those kids are alive.
I would love to pray and think so as well. Absolutely.
The reason why I can't say it's almost like I'm in a position like Daniel was stating, but slightly different. Daniel was saying he knew some stuff that he couldn't say. Well, I broke Daniel down, and he said I got it all out of him. Now, I'm not saying I agree with a lot of it, and I'm not saying it was the truth or a lie, but
right.
I cross-checked a lot of it, and it helped me find out more information.
Well, he believes that Malaya's innocent of all this, is what he told us. That's what he told. Yeah, and then he also said
Malaya made an awful mistake, is what happened, and then she made a bad mistake. There was some people involved with her. They made a bad mistake, thinking they were doing something good, and before they realized what happened, things blew up so quick. The Mounties moved in so quick with the dogs.
Right.
The searchers and everything started so quick that by the time they realized, oh, Jesus, what did we do? It was gone too far. They couldn't back out of it.
well, that's where I was at. You know, I keep flip-flopping like a fish, Derwood, to be honest with you, because I'm very deep empath, and I'm, very wise to people's emotions and stuff. But Daniel has me for a loop, and Malaya, this.
Well, here's the thing, Paula. They didn't leave on their own. The kids didn't. They didn't walk away, in my opinion. Okay. What he's explaining, and what I believe now, because I have a tendency to believe this. Okay. What I believe is that. I'll let him explain it. But the kids didn't walk away on their own, Paula. That's what I thought at some point, possibly, but not at this point. No. Thank you for being here, Tandy.
And I keep flip-flopping like a fish, because one minute I'm like, okay, Daniel, and then next thing I know, I'm like, because the whole thing. Go ahead.
I was like that myself until I started learning more and more information. Like I said, I know so many people here, and there was people. Once people found out around here that I was related to them, there was people that I've known for years. There's some retired Mounties that I went to school with, and one of them still active.
Good night, SRB. Thank you again. We'll speak to you tomorrow. And Cassie, I didn't even know you were in here. Good to see you. I'm sure you'll be going to bed too. Either way, like I said, you guys can all go to bed. I got this. It's only a few people in here, and I can handle it. If you need to go to bed, I completely understand. Don't worry about it. You guys have been with me all day long, on and off, so it's all good. I got it.
And they were talking to me, and there was a lot of connect.
Thank you, Candy.
Daniel's cousin Logan, there was a lot of the mystery cousin. No, she's really his cousin, and I know her well.
Yeah,
and she was talking to me. She's like, I have a good relationship with them and my family.
Right.
And
now Logan is the girl that first stepped forward and spoke. That's Daniel's cousin. She's the one that explained how and why Malaya and her family were thrown off the property by Janie, Daniel's mom. She's the younger girl. She spoke up. I can't remember who she did the interview with. It might have been them. Okay. Anyway, she said there was a disagreement and an argument towards the end of the driveway. They were standing there talking, and that's when everybody blamed it on Daniel and started yelling at him. Blah blah blah. It's his fault. His fault. His fault. And it was all broken up by RCMP, and they said everybody go separate ways, and then it worked out, blah, blah, blah. So.
And I have a relationship with a lot of people around the community that sort of trust me. I was an evil bastard, but I was a good evil bastard. Like I want good for people. I want people to get along okay, and I want to have peace and stuff like that. So now, here's where I'm going to go with this. Finally, I am very sure. And if I'm wrong, I'll eat a 10-pound turnip or something. But and this, I'm narrowing it down. I'm very sure at this point that Malaya dressed the kids and took them to the roadside and put them in a vehicle. I'm about 80% sure I know who was driving the vehicle. I know who was in the vehicle.
Okay.
And I know who transported the kids. I'm very very, very close to being 100% on that one. And when I finish finding out for sure, for absolute sure, then I'm gonna be able to find where those kids got delivered to.
Now, just to reiterate, because this is a recorded call, it's hard to hear. What he believes, he's telling everybody what he thinks happened. He believes, and he's going to reiterate why, and I'll keep doing this so that you guys understand, that Malaya addressed the kids. Now, remember something. She got up between 6 and 6:30 that morning to report the kids off from school, okay? Daniel was still sleeping. He's saying he believes that she got up, got the kids dressed, whatever, bag, whatever it was, at some point, and walked them out to the end of the driveway where that dog scent went to and died, put them into a car, and he's saying he knows pretty much who was driving and who else was in the vehicle. Okay? There's that. Now,
go ahead.
People are going to say, people are going to say, well, Daniel said he saw the kids in and out, or Lily in and out of that room that morning, but only heard Jack in the background. So this is what I think. If he was sleeping, he said, if you remember right, at one point that he was in and out of sleep. Malaya said the same thing. I think she's banking, if this is true, that she was banking on him being in and out of sleep and actually probably being asleep. Because he said it, he woke up at one point and she's laying next to him, sleeping still. So she did this in a hurry, got up and moved around and whatever. So, that's my thought. And that he may have had the time wrong. The time's wrong because he was sleeping. You know what I'm saying? That's where my thought process goes with that. Hearing this is all I'm saying. Sorry.
And that's why I got to be careful about what I say. All right,
Of
I got
course.
the cops ride me pretty hard. I think somebody's got a private investigator on me because there's been a blonde-haired girl running around the community here following me and taking pictures of me when I stop at a store and shit like that. And I don't care. They can do whatever they want. I can get away from them if I want. But and then I talked to the head guy of the major crime unit here, and he was told by some of my family that I had more information that they should know. Now, you see, the thing is, I don't really know if they know 100% of what I know, and vice versa.
Right.
But they will not. What I formatted to this guy, the head of it, his name's Jordan. I said, listen, there's just I'm so close to nailing these people down that there's just, it's not serious facts. They're just small facts that will corroborate what I already know.
Now, don't take this the wrong way, Good Trouble. This isn't her offing her children or hurting her children, okay? That's not what he's saying here at all. He's saying that she took these kids, put them in a car to leave. She's leaving Daniel is what she's doing in this aspect. She's getting the kids out of there first to make it easier on her to get the baby, to leave him. But it went the wrong direction. It got all jacked up here, and it'll explain it in a minute. So she didn't hurt them. They weren't harmed at that point. These people, whether they're family or friends, were just helping her to get them out of there to make this easier on her, is what this whole thing is, okay? So no, they weren't being hurt.
Right.
But they will not tell me anything. But yet they are demanding that I tell them what I know.
Right. Yeah, gotcha.
And I won't do it. And there's a lot of people on here saying, oh, yeah, you should go to the cops. You should tell them everything. Well, I listen. I've seen a lot of incompetence in the goddamn cops around here, man.
Right.
And I don't trust them.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're
And he definitely does have issues with RCMP. He starts dropping this GD word all over the place. You can tell he's getting angry and he's getting upset. So don't just ignore that, guys. He's. It makes sense because this is where I gathered that it feels like he does care about the kids and the situation. And I've heard more than just him talk about RCMP being incompetent. And these are the people that live with them. They know, and they have the rights to their feelings. I'm not saying that RCMP is incompetent. I'm saying the people that live in these areas have issues with them. A lot of them do because of the way things are handled. So,
for workers, I'll tell you this. I think they, this has been going on for what, 6.5 weeks? And if these guys would have done their goddamn jobs, this would have been over within a week.
You speak the truth.
And that's what's really pissing me off. The longer these kids have been out there.
And I got to tell you guys something. If this is what really happened, this situation that he's providing as being plausible situation as to what happened to the kids, he's 150% right that they should have had this solved within days to a week. I agree with that, okay? Because it's not that difficult to put this together to be able to figure out how this could have happened. So I have questions about that myself with RCMP. I'm just saying that.
They're floating around, the more chance there is of them being hurt.
Yeah,
and I hate
honestly.
that, and I won't put up with it. And the cops are threatening me with charges. Well, they can shove that because here's the way it is. Here's the way it is.
Speak it.
If I give them a name, right? And I asked the guy today. I said, "Okay, you won't tell me anything."
Mm-hmm.
He says, "No, that's the way we investigate." And I said, "Well, that's maybe part of your problem. Maybe that's why the kids aren't goddamn well in our living room right now."
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he didn't. I was ignorant to him, and I can be ignorant, I guess, and especially when I get
You're
pissed off and
feisty.
worked up.
You're feisty.
But anyway, I said, "Okay, I give you a name. Let's, for example, I give you a name right now." And he said, "Yeah." I said, "What are you going to do?" He said, "Well, we're going to investigate." And I said, "Well, how are you going to investigate? Tell me what you're going to do." I said, "Is you're just going to go and interview the person?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "So if I give you a name of somebody I believe picked the kids up and transported them to somewhere else and gave them to somebody else, you're going to go interview them and they're going to drop a goddamn dime the minute you walk away to the people that have the kids. And then that's going to blow the whole thing because then the kids will either be moved,
right,
or they'll or whoever has them will panic and hurt them." And I put out the warning on Dolly Vision, and this is why I did it. And I'll do it here too. I'll do it. I hope the people, if those kids are alive, and that's a big if because it's been a long time, but I still believe there's a very good chance they are.
Mm-hmm.
If those kids are still alive, and if they're where I think they are, if you to the goddamn idiots that are still holding on to those kids, I want to say this: if you panic, we're zeroing in on you, and you know it. The last couple of days, they know we're zeroing in on them. And if you panic and hurt those kids, thinking that you're going to hurt them and get rid of them and not get nailed, you're wrong. Because we're already very close to having you. And if we're going to have you regardless of whether you hurt the kids or not, and if you hurt the kids, it's going to go one hell of a lot worse on you. So here's my advice to you, goddamn idiots.
Go on.
Let's bring those kids to the light of day. Bring them to somewhere where we can get them into safety and where they should be. Now, there's no way they're going to be going back to Malaya or Daniel, I'll tell you that, because of the CPS problems and that, and especially since Malaya bailed today. There's no, I don't believe there's any way that either Daniel's going to get those two kids back or Malaya. And I don't believe Malaya should because she's not mentally capable.
Right. Can I ask you one thing? Was there, just to ask you if you can answer or not, was there CPS issues before this? That we've heard? I'm just asking you if you could say or not, if you know. If you don't, then
not that I know, that I know of. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And you know, the inside of that trailer.
Yeah.
The inside of the trailer, those kids were always kept clean. They were always well fed. The inside of the trailer was a lot neater than the outside. And one thing about the old cars not laying around was when Daniel was working one day a week, he tried to make a spare buck here and there off selling the car part and stuff like that.
Yeah, Belinda had said
that did accumulate. I mean, there's some old washers, but a lot of people in rural Nova Scotia live like that, man. It's nothing rare. So these people, there's no the kids. I believe the kids are alive about number 4 because there's no real killers amongst these people. There's no kid killers amongst these people.
Oh, right, okay.
Now, and I believe there's a very good chance if these goddamn idiots hear me now. I really am closing in. Especially, I found a lot of information today. I had a good day today.
Did you have a good day today?
Yeah, and I'm going to go observe some people in the next couple of days and watch a few things.
You know,
so I want these people to know that they're being zeroed in on. They're not going to get away with this.
You're like a true crime sleuth over there.
So come clean, or else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, I have a question.
One sec, Charmaine. It's okay. 1 second. Charmaine's trying to ask you a question here. Go ahead, Charmaine.
I just want to know if if you're correct in where the kids probably are, do you believe that Malaya knows where they are and that's why she left? Or like, because she knows that by hiding them for this long, she's in serious trouble regardless if they're alive or not alive. This has become a huge deal. And if they're alive and just being hidden, I don't understand because.
Excuse me, go ahead.
No. Okay. Well, answer that part of it if you could first, Charmaine.
Yes, now this is no proof, so
no, it's just speculation.
Okay, but it's a fairly educated guess. Is all I say, because I'm not going to say something's true if I really don't know, or if I don't have some kind of foundation behind it.
Right.
Now, this may not be true.
Okay.
But every indication through everywhere is yes, Malaya knows where they're at, and her bailing today was another large indication to me, because I think she was informed very quickly that I stated a name. I inquired about a name, and I was eavesdropped on, and I dropped the name because I wanted to be eavesdropped on.
Right.
The person that was eavesdropping, I was very suspicious of being involved. And before I got back home, I got the phone call that Jesus Christ, Malaya had grabbed the baby, panicked, and took off.
So is that fact? Is that fact, Derwood?
Yes, it is that Malaya grabbed
Yeah.
the baby and took off.
Yeah.
The only part of that I can't verify.
Right. Is why.
Is that she went to the reserve in Shubenacadie, although that's where she screamed that she was running.
Okay.
And my relatives all believe that that's where she headed now, unless she changed her mind.
Right.
And somebody had tried to call her to verify this, because one of the people I know called her, and when she recognized the voice, they could hear the car going, and they could hear the wind in the car. They knew she was traveling in a car.
Right.
And she immediately hung up on them and shut her phone off. So that's what.
So there again, for those of you that didn't get it, the claim is that a relative called back after he was there. He dropped a specific name, and he did it on purpose because he knew somebody was listening. Who, I don't know. It's another relative. Cindy, maybe her mom. I don't know, whoever it was. But anyway. And whoever it was, or no, because he wasn't at their house. But whoever it was called either Malaya or her mother and said, hey, he dropped this name. In turn, I'm guessing that's the name of the person that either has the kids or transported the kids, okay? Because he said he thought he knew. Whoever it was, within a half an hour, they had called Malaya. She took the baby and took off. And like I said earlier, Cindy, her mother, was fighting with her to stay there because she could get in trouble because she's under CPS watch for whatever. But she took off anyway. And as she was leaving, she screamed that she was going to the reservation. I can't pronounce the name right off the bat right now as to where she was going. I believe that that's because her attorney is on that reservation, okay? And she may feel like she's safe there. And truly, the kids could be there too. Who knows? So there's that. Just to catch you guys up to that point.
That's the total of. I know for a fact she grabbed the baby and bailed in a hurry, and I would say 85% sure myself that she was heading for the reserve in Shubenacadie.
Now, Jared, if you don't mind, can I go back to something for a sec? Well, there's a couple things, but it's stuff that you kind of were talking about. But like, okay, um, now Daniel's interview yesterday, right? So my thing is this: I like to look and a lot of other viewers, but myself and Charmaine, we just like to look at the facts and see where the facts take us. And then, the other stuff to the side becomes side stuff. And, does it belong in there? Does it seem like it doesn't belong in there? But, regardless, whenever families.
I agree, Katie. And if she's in panic mode, the people that maybe the name drop, she may have alerted, they could be in panic mode. I pray to God that these people are not dumb enough, stupid enough, or ignorant enough to try to hurt these kids to save themselves. That's my biggest fear at this point with all of this right now, if this is true. So again, very interesting. And to head to where her attorney's at, who is related to the chief of the tribe she belongs to. Again, double protection in my opinion, okay? Now, there is, from my understanding, if she went to the reservation that they claimed, there is an RCMP outpost on that reservation. That would be interesting. And they can do something if they get a warrant. They can get in there and do what they need to do. Yeah, fear causes stupidity. Panic causes stupid decisions. Truly, Katie.
Speaks. That's fact, regardless if it's, truth or not, regardless, right? So that's what we like to look at. That's what.
To an extent, if they believe that they have the reason to do it, they can go into the reservation with a warrant looking for the kids if they need to, or for her herself. So we'll see what goes down in the next couple of days.
What we always like to put out there, just the truth and the facts of the case, and then talk about speculation. As long as, but so Daniel's interview yesterday there was quite a few things that were different than what he had told Charmaine.
I don't think a lot of Daniel's interview yesterday was accurate.
No. Well, there were some things in there for sure, but one of the things that, like what he said, like that Daniel out of his mouth said, so there's a couple of things that, and maybe you might have the answer, maybe you don't. A lot of us keep questioning, like, okay, so if the kids went out back through this silent door, which is a strange thing to say, okay, that a silent door, two people saying that in an interview is kind of weird. Usually you don't say, even saying to Belinda, same thing was said to Belinda in messages, which makes it seem like it's contrived. But did not Janie hear the kids or see the kids, like, to give insight to the Thursday? Because I know that there's video footage from New Glasgow from Thursday, but like, is there anything that you know of by chance about anything about from Thursday to Friday? And if Janie had seen them, the children?
Yes, Janie had heard them. You're talking about Daniel's mother, Janie.
Correct, Janie. Yes. And if you can't say something, then obviously you can't.
Just let me think it over for a sec.
Sure. Because he did say that to Belinda, Daniel. He did say that she thought she might have heard them, and the dogs barked a couple times. That's what Daniel said to Belinda. So it was just a matter as if, there was a little bit more on that one, like if Janie had actually seen or the kids, or if there was confirmation that she did hear them. That was all. That spot is very hard for people that are following the case to understand.
Well, here's my understanding on Janie. Malaya never thought that Janie was home at the time in the morning, that early in the morning.
Right.
Malaya was on the side of the road, and Janie showed up and surprised the shit out of Malaya.
She was on the side of the road?
Yep. I believe this is not fact.
Okay. Speculation.
I can't prove it.
Okay.
I believe that Janie just missed the kid transfer. I believe that Janie just missed the kids being put into a vehicle.
So, right, because again, me and Charmaine, we have more information that Daniel had said, because like I said, he did have a conversation, and it's too bad that he's more worried about Malaya then meaning
That's changing, by the way, today.
I hope.
So that right there is how this got out of hand, how this happened, and got to be where it's at. Because as she was doing, based on his thoughts and what's understood, as she was out there taking the kids out to the car, just as she gets them in the car and they're moving off, Daniel's mother, Janie, kind of catches her and sees her out here. She blows it off, says she's looking for the kids or something like that, I think, whatever. But in turn, at that point, it stops her in her plan of grabbing the baby and finishing up and leaving. Okay? So, that being said, that's why this got so far out of hand, because then she had to make the call to RCMP, who responded so quickly that she couldn't get out of this situation. That's why this went the direction it did, as quickly as it did, and that's why we're sitting at the point where we're at now. So this that makes perfect sense, because I always wondered about Daniel's mom and why. You see what I'm saying? So that makes perfect sense to me. That she kind of caught her just as she was done doing what she was doing and was like, hey, what's going on or whatever. And she said, whatever she said, I don't know. But then she probably became petrified and made really bad decisions from that point forward.
Yesterday, that's changing. She's lost his support pretty badly, because right now he's so worried about Meadow. He believes that if CPS takes Meadow now, he's worried about Malaya committing suicide. He thinks she's that mentally worried, and I don't want to see that either.
Right, of course, nobody does.
Believe it or not, I think I like Malaya. I've always liked Malaya, but I think Malaya she's had a rough go of it with she's had 2 kids, and they broke up. They couldn't stick a family together, and I think she tried.
Yeah.
And then with Daniel, it's not been all
roses,
but
right.
I think it was pretty decent, to tell you the truth. But now with this happening, I think it blew her right out of the water. I think with some postpartum depression and just some regular family issues, some financial worries, and not going as great as because she was starting to. I think she was just sort of starting to look at her life and wishing for a little better, like we all do.
Right.
And I think this thing happened by almost fluke. And she right at the time, I think she sort of panicked. There was people formulated a plan, and I think she had never had. Pardon?
But why, dear? Our thing is this: Jack and Lily aren't Daniels, so why would there need to be this whole ruse of hiding the children, or what's your thoughts on that? Because I know it's just going to be.
Well, I don't think initially that she intended to hide the children. I think she was worried that Daniel would be very upset if she moved the kids out of there, and I think she intended. When she got those 2 out of there, I think she intended to take the baby and get out of there herself.
Well. Okay.
And when she moved the kids out of there, now this is all conjecture now.
Right? Yeah. No
because
problem.
I haven't even been able to talk to Malaya yet.
No.
But I believe she moved the kids out of there to thinking that she was protecting the kids and moving them to a better life. Because, like I said about, well, now I pretty much slipped into something that I didn't want to say.
It's okay.
I think there's a couple ways you can go there. Maybe she was having postpartum depression.
Right.
Maybe she was having some mental issues that she was finding she couldn't handle the pressure of raising the 3 of them.
Right.
Her and Daniel were probably not getting along for a little while there at a stretch.
Right.
And she was complaining about that to some family members.
Right.
And I think they took it upon themselves to help. She was saying she wanted out of there, and so they helped her take the 2 kids out of there. And I think initially Daniel was actually still sleeping when most of this went on. And I think she planned on being in the next vehicle out of there with the baby.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Because like I've been into like very like abusive relationships and stuff like that. So I'm trying to relate from both sides because Daniel did tell Belinda that actually she was in worse than a postpartum, as if a man knows, Derwood, what postpartum is like when you have children. But it is something real. It does exist, for sure. And so basically, I think we can gather by Daniel saying that to Belinda is that she obviously was going through some mental health issues and some postpartum, issues going on.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I can associate as you're telling.
I can too.
Yeah.
I can too. I think that some of this came out of confusion. Some of it came out of snap decisions, that weren't thought through really well. And then, but like I said, by the time it was partly done, and like, okay, I think the only reason the cops got called is because, oh no, I can't say that.
Okay, it's okay if you can't. Sorry, I'm just getting my charger. Go ahead.
There's been abuse allegations thrown everywhere. Okay, and
do you know if Daniel has charges of abuse? Because some people are posting that.
No.
It's the wrong Daniel Martel, isn't it?
No, I don't think Daniel was never charged with abuse. No.
Okay, thank you.
Not that I know of. No.
Okay.
I'd be very surprised.
No, there's another Daniel Martel in Nova Scotia as well that I believe is the one that people are getting mixed up with.
So anyway,
and you see how he stops himself from saying certain things, like he knows what he can say, what he shouldn't say. I feel like he knows even more than what he's saying. And he's working on trying to do it the right way or turn it over somehow, but he doesn't seem to trust the police. So there's something up with this too, okay? I'm just saying. Oh, no. Postpartum can go on for years, Good Trouble. Literally. I know a friend of my sister's that had it for like 4 years after having her third child. And it was bad. Not to mention, she probably has generalized depression from living in this area and not having any connection with anything but her children. Add that to postpartum and then think about the situation. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, like, so this is what made me believe some of this stuff, because he knows where, like, there's certain things he can't be saying right now because he thinks it might cause some issues. So it's interesting to me.
Am I boring the shit out of you?
No, no, trust me. Honestly, I'm a big talker myself. I talk all day at work because I have to. I'm a customer service agent.
It's exhausting me.
Is it? No.
This is all information, and it's really important to get the truth out there. So
I love these guys on this goddamn thing that everything you say is a lie. You don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. You're probably not even a relative at all, and all this crap. And that's fine. They don't know, but.
Yeah, so Charmaine just finished saying to you, no. We love this stuff. We do. Like, honestly, and please know, is this the first time you've seen our channel?
No, I've watched your channel.
Okay.
I've watched your channel a few times.
Okay.
I've watched all of them, and yours is another one. Dolly's not too bad on the clickbait. I don't really think yours is either. As a matter of fact,
Never
I don't
do.
think I saw hardly any at all on yours.
I don't do any clickbait at all. I don't do nothing.
I saw any. No, Dolly does a little bit of it.
He does.
Listen,
He knows
I
it.
think it hurts viewership when they do that, because when somebody has a headline there that catches their interest, and then they read the headline, and then they spend an hour looking at the goddamn video, and none of that is ever true or even
Right.
comes out,
Yeah.
well, you're not going to go back and look at that again because it's bullshit, so you don't want to see it again. So I think it's better.
For subscription wise, it's better to try to be more ethical with that, because I
do believe he believes what he's saying, Good Trouble. That's a good way to put it. But like I said, I'm 50-50 on if this is true or not. Him being a family member, and in the fact that you can prove that he's not, it's a teller to me. So we'll see if anything comes from this. There's just a little bit more here and we'll be done with it.
too, just like you do, or get pissed off when somebody uses, and I kind of blasted Dolly because I'm sick and tired of clickbait things. But you know, when I thought about what he was saying, I still will never do it myself. But clickbait, so clickbait causes awareness, but you can also lose subs to it because nobody likes that.
What the hell is his real name anyway? Dolly. I don't get you. That'd be his name. It doesn't matter.
And I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Real name is Jimmy.
Yeah.
So I'll call him Dolly, I guess.
No, I just really do my thing on this channel, and like I said, everything we do, first and foremost, will always be about the victims in this case.
All I can say to these people that do that is, what is wrong with the truth?
There's nothing wrong with the truth.
What is wrong with the truth? I think I think people in general are getting a long ways off track. Be truthful, just be real. Because I'll tell you something, half the time the people around here, if you tell them the truth, they don't believe you anyway. So
I know.
why do you lie?
Yeah, because when you're on that side of the fence, and we've been in true crime for 5 years, and like ourselves, and so for us, well, Charmaine might have been longer, but I've been doing this channel since 2020 because I got really upset with a case where I knew that the husband killed the wife, and I could tell it was on Mother's Day, and I brought up my channel because I was like, oh no one's gonna. I wanted the case to stay revived, right? So
this is the road. That's another one important reason why I initially called Dolly. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think, and I was severely pissed off because the kids were, it was almost like the kids were being forgotten about. It was just gradually fading away. Everybody was cursing Daniel, and everybody was cursing Malaya, and it was almost like there was too many people concentrating on cursing Daniel and Malaya and forgetting about Jack and Lily.
Well,
and I that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring this back. Listen, like I said before, I don't really give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I want, if the people that are involved in this, well, they should be in a lot of shit, because all the searchers and that they put out, the helicopters, the drones, the expenses, the satellite imagery. I mean, we got a satellite watching things down here, for Jesus' sake. And I mean, what is the cost of that crap? And all the people that took time off work, like, I mean, at one point there was 160 or 70 people out there volunteering their time and taking work off to try to find these kids. And that's just not, somebody's going to end up paying for that, I believe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No.
So that's the main shit I think somebody's going to end up in.
Well,
and
go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, I talked too much.
No. They would rather hear you than me. Trust me on this one. But I do want to say this, okay? So just know is that, and this is something I had to learn myself coming into true crime. Okay, there are your crap channels and there are your good channels. But at the end of the day, regardless if there's drama, trust me on this one, Durwood, that any coverage to a case is keeping it out there. And that's what you want. Drama is so people love drama. So please, in your own mind.
No, I don't really give a shit about them.
Yeah.
I used to be not a very confident man, but I'm confident enough now that
I'm glad.
I don't really run on what other people say or think about me, because I believe I stand on my own 2 feet, and I don't hate myself when I look in the mirror, so I think I'm not that bad guy.
And you're kind of handsome too, right? You said.
Oh, thanks, Dave. That makes my night.
But yeah.
Anyway, look. Just chill out, people, is all I can say. Keep your eyes open and your ears open, and look.
Well,
if I get a crack at those kids, to help my Jesus, I'll bleed to get them, because I love them.
You know what?
I want those goddamn kids so bad, it's ridiculous.
I get it. You know, and what I was going to say about that too, because like Belinda, right? I'm not. Do you actually know Belinda?
No, I know of her.
But
no, I've never communicated with her. No,
she's,
I don't.
you know what? She's just a wonderful lady, and
She seems like a nice lady. I watched a couple of her interviews there, and I can feel that she's genuinely, deeply concerned about the kids.
Absolutely.
And I like her myself, just from what I've seen. I like her, and my woman likes her too. My woman thinks she's good.
You mean you're haughty? So you're handsome and you're haughty? Is that right?
My handsome and my haughty.
Yeah,
well,
you're handsome. No, well, your haughty's your other half. You're the handsome.
I've got the best woman on the planet.
Aww.
I've got a woman that saved my life, and I'm so loyal to her that I'd be her dog anytime she wants to put a leash on me. And
well,
I owe her a lot.
I was gonna say, please, like honestly, being a voice matters. It really, truly does. Being a voice to a case when family is speaking, it matters a lot. So please, I want to say this because, like I say to Belinda, just know I'm going to do this for this reason. Okay. So just know, trust me on this. But meaning what I want to say, what I want to personally say to you, and whether it was on Dolly's show or this show tonight, I really do want to say thank you, because honestly, the RCMP can suck it sometimes and whatever, right? Like there's good ones.
I don't think if they,
yeah, it's okay.
Listen, we just had a woman here last year, an older lady. She was 70, I believe she was 70 some years old. She had Alzheimer's bad. She jumped in her car, and she was being seen all over the goddamn community. And I mean, they had a big search for her, but yet she was still being to buy his drugs off because he was suspected. And that was, a few years ago and that. And then there was some other, I was at them.
I know.
And,
I know it's so hard because
don't worry, I've got a few threats landing in these goddamn.
Right. Okay. So like so when Belinda accepted my friend's request a week later, it was because I was constantly checking on her face.
Please, people, please stop with the bullshit guessing. Stop with a lot of that crap. Just keep your eyes and your ears open. You don't learn anything by shooting your mouth off. You only learn when you listen. So everybody in the community, listen to what everybody's saying. And okay, I'm going to say one more thing. I'm going to point a direction out pretty hard here. Okay.
Okay. Hardball.
Could be wrong.
Good.
Could be wrong.
Speculation.
How about you people down around Tattamagush keeping your goddamn eyes and ears open for me?
About where? In where?
Tattamagush.
Oh,
Give me his name 2 years ago because they were shooting arrows up in the air. One of them hit a goose and they got in an argument over it. And he said, "That's my goose."
Oh, that's my goose. Wait, I have to go back to what I was talking about because I remember I found my road. I found my path back. Okay. So what I was going to say, what really pisses me off, and this is, again, I'm a mother, right? For children for me are the most precious gifts ever. So it really does hurt my heart. Any of these cases that we do follow, it's because somehow they resonated, but regardless, children are innocent. But what pissed me off is that here we have Malaya, the mother, who doesn't even use her Facebook social media to post anything anymore about Jack and Lily. There's crickets, nothing. And so it's like, you are the mother. Why is it basically, and is holding Malaya hostage, and Malaya's basically been mind warped in a sense and innocent of all this in the loosest way I'm saying that, but that's what he was saying. Okay. But regardless, that's literally verbatim on his messages, but right.
I know that.
And that's why I said, like, Daniel, you need to get a bib and drool because honestly, this is about Jack and Lily. Who gives two shits about Malaya at this moment? This is about Jack and Lily, always 1000%. So I, as a mother, and I know that you feel this way too, and that's why you're speaking out because you're frustrated, but as mothers, as parents, for us to watch people hide and then try to use the RCMP as the reason why they can't talk, which we already know is bullshit. We already know that, right? But these are your children. These are your children. And right. So why
they're the only pure form of humanity.
So I mean, that's why everyone, like, so yes, you know, Daniel gets side-eye because of course you don't know. It's like you're watching somebody and you're not sure if he's being truthful. You actually, to be honest with you, this case, and as you well know, there's a lot of inconsistencies in the timeline that we know of. You probably have more out of Daniel, of course, if you talk to him. We have the bit of information when Daniel was talking to Charmaine, but it gives you more insight into the day. But it's still there's stuff missing. There's a picture, and you obviously feel that the kids, this went totally wrong. It was never supposed to be this big. Went totally wrong, and now it's kind of get basically when you're hooped, and you're basically just going to keep the lie up type of idea. Is that kind of the gist of what you think's going on? You said. That Malaya did do something she knows, and that these kids are hidden, and you believe that they're alive, I believe is what you, at least you're really hoping that they are.
Oh, that you're saying it, and maybe I'm hoping so hard that I'm trying to believe it.
Same.
But I believe it because of some facts too, and I don't want Malaya is
Spit it out.
Malaya in her natural personality is a very malleable person. She's probably fairly easy led if somebody wanted to manipulate her or stuff like that. And I think she's been, I don't know, to say it in my way.
He's getting ready to say what I've been saying for a long time. I do believe that she has been being led around by her mother, for one, who's very manipulative, very controlling, and or other family members probably close to her mother, who probably, if this is true, orchestrated this, and then Malaya went along with, okay? Because they probably told her, this is what you need to do to keep your children, blah, 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 something like that. That's why this is so believable to me at this point. That's what I think he's getting ready to say, because I didn't go this far with this earlier.
I know what you're saying.
If everybody can just give her a little bit of slack, because I think she could use a little bit of slack, and I'm not saying she shouldn't be straightened out. And I'll be the first one. I'm straightening her out. To tell you the truth, what I'm saying on here, I don't think Malaya would be very pleased about it, but I can't help it.
Jack and Lily.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly. I believe the girl dressed them and loaded them out into a vehicle.
Right. Now,
and mistake or not, they went down the road. I'm sure of that. And there's no, if there was abuse, I think Malaya could have handled it a lot better. I mean, they were her kids. Why didn't she just grow? I mean, she can't grow a set of balls. But anyway,
stop taking my terms.
I wish she would have been a little braver and just took the kids and left.
Right. If that's how
if she'd have done that and come to our family, come to us, we protect her from anything that might come down the road.
I know.
And I don't think she thought that she had anybody that would help her or protect her or stand up for her. And that's another reason I think she acted in very bad judgment.
Well, what do you think of her? Can I ask you, Derwood, what did you think of her interview? Because I thought it was one of the worst interviews that I've ever seen.
She was scared shitless.
Is that how you? Yeah. So just your interpretation yourself. You feel like she was scared shitless?
Very, very. There it is, right there. That's the whole, to me, summed up. Scared shitless.
Yeah, because she was totally.
She was almost frozen in panic.
Yeah.
And insecurity, like the insecurity's been coming along for a long time. Like I said, she's not an aggressive person in that way. Like personality wise, she's you know, very, very soft spoken, sort of quiet. Like, you know,
that's what Belinda said. Yeah.
And there was just too much going on around her, and just too much going on. And she was scared. She knew she at that point, I'm sure she knew she made up a lie. And then she couldn't back out of it. She was just too scared to
Right.
stand up and tell the truth at that time. I really believe that.
Yeah. Jared, do you mind quickly if Charmaine just asks, if she asks you a question? Would you mind?
No, I guess I'm past minding now. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's not really a question. It's just more of a kind of make sure that I understand everything in a nutshell for chat. So can you confirm this is what you believe, that Malaya had planned, I guess, to get the kids out of there so to make it easier for her to leave with Meadow that morning? And so she took the kids to the end of the driveway and handed them off, not to get the kids away from Daniel, but just to make it easier for her to leave that situation. Is that kind of, in a nutshell, what you're thinking? And then the RCMP response was so quick, I think, because of the missing kayaker or whatever, and they had the RCMP and the dogs and the drones and everything there a lot quicker, and everything just kind of went so quick and blew up so fast that she panicked and was scared to get in trouble, so she didn't speak up and say, I have the kids, they're not missing.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I think if you see what I mentioned before, now this is partly theory, this little wee part of it, and you've got everything right down pat as far as I'm concerned about that situation. You're right on the money. There's one little thing that I already said to that I made. I don't think you missed it because I probably talked too fast or something. But the one thing that surprised her, that buggered up her plan, and this is only conjecture,
Jamie.
but it's pretty tight. She didn't know that Janie was home. She never thought Janie was home. So I think her plan was, when those kids went down the road, I think Daniel was asleep, and I think she was going to go back in, take the baby, and bail. But you see, Janie was home and got awakened and came out to the side of the road. And that's when you've heard Daniel say that she was kind of stunned on the side of the road and looking guilty when he came out, because Janie was already there, and that she was looking guilty and that she was playing with her phone.
Yeah.
So I think like Janie sort of caught her unintentionally and didn't know she caught her. Like, she wondered what she was doing out the side of the road that early.
Right.
And from what I understand the conversation, Janie never had much. Janie looked at Malay and said, "What did you do?" And Malay just stood there stunned.
Oh, okay.
Now that's what I heard. And then, now this part of this I can't prove because I wasn't there.
Right.
But that's what that's what I think occurred. But everything else you just said is right on the button.
Now, just to ask you, is she retired? Do you know, or does she work?
I think she is. My woman that I'm with now worked with her at the home as a caretaker for one of the homes there for years. And from what I understand, Janie.
See, that part plays into it with what Daniel had said about kind of seeing Malaya by the side of the road early like that, not knowing what was going on, and Daniel's mother. That makes all of this make some sense. Hey, Lucy, thank you for joining us, dear. So again, did he call back in again? Thank you. Yes, ma'am. I'll have to check that out tomorrow. So that makes this kind of all fold in together. And I'm sure that there's more that we'll be hearing tomorrow, but that's why I kind of wanted to break this down tonight and give everybody my thoughts, hear your thoughts, and we're about done with this, and we'll go ahead and bring it down for the night at the end of this here. But I appreciate you guys all being here, for those of you that are still here.
He's a hell of a nice person. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I think I met like I said, I knew so many people around here when I was back home and excavating and that, and I'm sure I met her probably half a dozen times, but I just can't place her. And I'm sure I know her. And one thing, I don't want to talk to Belinda because I don't want to give her any false hope.
Right.
And I don't, but my God, one thing I would love for her and for all of us, tell her there's some people that really want those kids back. She's not alone. We want those, and to have a little bit of hope, because I know she's losing hope. From her interviews and that, she was pretty sure the kids are gone.
Right.
Well, it would be it would be a good Christmas day if we walked back up the main street with those kids, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, absolutely. Honestly, again, it just, I mean, I'm not family, but it just tears my heart apart. Just anything to do with the missing of children. You know, they're so innocent, and to see little Lily's and Jack's face, you know, and even that 3-year-old girl, thank God she was found alive, you know.
Yeah. Here we got one. Here, I'm going to get pissed off at this person. Sandra Chisholm. I just looked over at the comments. This dink. She's got to be a dink. That's ridiculous that Malaya orchestrated this. Daniel never said she was on the side of the road. Daniel says now that Malaya was asleep and he noticed that the kids were gone. What crap. Well, listen, baby, I'm going to tell you one goddamn fact. One of the people that told me about Janie and told me about Malaya on the side of the road was Daniel himself, face to face. And then there was a couple other people I got the same idea of. So there's another person there saying, what crap. They don't know what to talk. There's another person.
Well, yeah,
I wonder if that woman knows shit from applesauce. You're not supposed to be rude, but I'm going to be rude. So that's the kind of thing. If you know something, say it. If you don't, shut your pie hole.
I'm not
laughing. I'm pissed off now. Like people like that really piss
Well,
me
I
off.
was gonna say, so again, in the true crime world, you know, you're gonna on, and you say a lot of the same words I say, like pie hole and stuff like that. But anyways, so that's what everyone appreciates, a good feisty person. So trust me when I say this, you know, again, you know, people are going to say and do and make thumbnails or do whatever. They're going to do that regardless. No matter what you say, it's going to happen. But the thing is that the purpose is, like, you know, Derwood, is, and by the way, Dolly's name is Jimmy, apparently.
No, I hope I don't.
Now, with all that last part that was just said, if you guys think back, there was a disagreement at the end of the driveway at the side of the road between Daniel's family, which would be Daniel's mother and Daniel's cousin and Logan and Malaya and somebody else that was down there. And that interaction, I believe, is what was just spoke about. And Janie says to Malaya, what did you do? And it turns into this big blowout thing. Then we have a press conference. And the press conference is a big deal. And at that point, Malaya realizes, holy shit, what did I do? But is scared to death that something bad's going to happen to her, maybe. She runs away in the middle of the press conference to the back of the ambulance because she's having this freaked out panic attack. Her mother comes over, gets in her ear, because she probably knows. And off they go. This whole thing, if this is true, makes this make sense, you guys. It makes all the little bits make sense. Daniel's mom may have said that, Good Trouble. We don't know. They're not going to tell us. You know how law enforcement, and especially here, they can't just take her word on it. Okay, they can question it. Malaya could have said, I was out here looking for the kids because I couldn't find them. Or I was out here just checking the mail, or who knows? You know what I mean? She could have made up anything. They have no reason to not believe her when she calls in the missing kids. It doesn't fit together. So in turn, I'm sure they did question it and look into it. And they just don't have any proof of it yet. So there's nothing they can do. It's kind of crazy. So I do believe that she probably did, Good Trouble, say something, which is what in turn enveloped that argument where the police had to step in and separate that. And then Malaya and her family were kicked off the property by Daniel's mom, who owns that property. That's interesting. The puzzle pieces fit together.
You. I hope I don't offend you, but on that line of questioning about people going to say what they're going to say and do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
How are these people stupid enough to vote Liberal? That's all I'm going to say. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay. So Derwood, quickly, I know that's not your real name, like you said, but anyways, so you have me on Messenger. Again, if there's ever a time that you say, hey, Sonny, can I come up? I got some shit to say. Just feel free to message me when we're doing.
And yeah, fingers crossed. Pray to God that these kids are still alive, that they're okay, that whoever did this, if this is what went down, did not panic and did not do something stupid, and that we will see these kids' faces alive and well soon is what I'm hoping for, very much so.
Doing a live, if there is anything you want to talk about, for sure, because again, it's
family when Belinda or even Daniel or whatever, the Logan and the other cousin on the other side, or the aunt or whatever, and Durwood, when these people speak, now we have things to talk about. Now we have information, not just the shit that we come up with as a collective, right?
You're right.
I think it's great.
Whoops. Oh, oops, sorry, I hit my mic there. So absolutely. What was I going to say? I was going to say something really.
So that was it for that conversation, but that was very telling to me and very interesting to me, and it's been stuck in my head all damn day. This makes sense. Okay? Like I said, I'm about 60-40 in believing this at this point. And now this gentleman has come forward on other channels and back to this channel again tonight, from my understanding. It's very interesting. And I hope that maybe RCMP sees this or hears this, or he goes to them. He trusts them enough to go to them. What he's afraid of, though, like he said, and it is a very understood, I can understand why he would be afraid, is that they're going to go question the name that he throws out, and then that person in turn is going to panic. They're going to run with the kids, and something bad could happen, and that's why he's afraid to go forward with this. I get it, okay? But this makes this case finally make some sort of sense if this is true. Once again, I feel like I have to believe this guy, because again, he knows too much. He speaks, mind you, he's a 65-year-old man that I can't imagine would insert himself and cause some drama for no reason, but you never know. He's also claiming that he's family to Malaya, second cousin, that they know that, and it can be proved wrong if it's not, and then that could cause all sorts of issues, so I can't see him lying about that either. So there's my thoughts, folks, on what I think of this, okay? I do think that this is very, very plausible. Malaya off and running. Well, here's the thing, Good Trouble. I get that. But I noticed people that are older, that aren't familiar with YouTube, that get involved in YouTube, they go to places that we don't expect them to go to because they don't know where to go. So he doesn't really know Dolly for Dolly. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know the shit from before. He just knows this because they're not used to YouTube per se, in my opinion. My understanding is he came out here because of this, looking for somebody probably told him, go watch YouTube. You'll find this, this, and that. And that was one of the main channels with the biggest and brightest lights that had the name all over it. You know how Dolly does it. So he clicked on it. First one he saw, probably, because that's one of the first ones that shows up when you go through the algorithm. So that would make sense. A lot of people have done that. That would be why. I don't think if he knew everything that's gone on in the past with Dolly's channel and all that, he probably wouldn't. You know, that's just my opinion. So that's kind of my point. Because I've had other people tell me that. When Kim first came out for the Idaho 4 case, Kim, WSU mom Kim, said that the first channel she ever looked at was T-Rev's channel because it was the biggest, loudest, and brightest. And when she realized after dealing with him that wasn't it, then she came to me and to Daniel and to Lana and all that other stuff. So, and that turned out not to be in good favor for her in some senses too, but you know, I feel bad for Daniel. I feel bad for Malaya. If she's going through this, she made some bad decisions, and out of fear, she's probably the postpartum stuff, all of it together. It makes me feel bad for everybody involved, mostly the kids. Okay, and I hope the kids are they're healthy, happy, and alive. I pray, and that I hope that within a week, this will all blow up, and not in a bad way, but hopefully, and it will be brought to a close. The kids will be put back in safe hands, and this will be over. I'm praying to God that's what happens. I'm sure I'll update on this tomorrow at some point too. But hopefully that's what works out, guys. It's 12:30 a.m. here. It's time for me to leave you all alone to sleep. I appreciate you jumping in here and letting me share my thoughts with you and my feelings on this and my opinions, even though it's late. I didn't see a whole lot of you, but that's okay. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for joining me. That being said, I appreciate my mods, the ones that made it through. I don't think I have any left in here now. Oh, Molly's in here, I think, and so is Miss Tandy. And Miss Heather's right there. There she is. Thank you, dear. So thank you all. Twiz, I didn't even know you was in here, bro. Good to see you tonight, brother. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope you guys had I hope you enjoyed tonight being here with us. I hope you got some insight out of this, possibly. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other, guys. Don't change nothing. You guys are the beautiful people. I will see you guys at some point tomorrow for the morning show. Have a great night. Much love. Good night. God bless. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Eyes like a crime scene torn at the seams. The jukebox plays a dirge for the damned. In this twilight world where nothing is planned. True Crime Cafe, where the secrets spill. Every cup's a confession and every shot could kill. Underneath the neon lies a dark ballet. Dancing with our demons at True Crime Cafe. The coffee's bitter like a lover's last fight. The air's electric in the neon light. A place where lies and truth collide. Order a double shot and swallow your pride. Smoke curls up like whispers from the grave. No redemption here, no soul to save.